Whoa! Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new award-nominated Ultra Chen TV show Tuesday. My name's Ultra David.
That's right, and I'm James Chen. Welcome to the new studio space here. So this is a different location here, but essentially the same thing. It's not that different. It's just no crazy table with like stuff.
I like it. I gotta tell you, I feel like I look gorgeous right now. I love the lighting. I think.
Oh
the lighting is fantastic.
okay, awesome.
Also, I have this now. Now it's kind of disappeared, but I had this one gray hair that was like in a very cool looking spot in my hair that I was very happy about.
And now I can't.
Now
right
it's
now?
like gone.
I can't
Bummer.
believe that it was even viewable at one point.
I think
in
it
time.
looks sick. Anyway, so we have changed locations just a little bit, not too dramatically geographically, but changed locations nevertheless. We're going to talk about several and sundry topics today. We'll be discussing, as you can see up here, I'm hoping and I'm right about these, the various tournaments that happened. Aha! Red Bull, IPS finals, and so forth. There was actually a bunch of stuff. We're going to be talking about Infiltration. We'll talk about some various things in 5-5 matchup, including Evo Japan.
All right, hang on
By the way,
second. Hopefully there's not going to be echo. Okay, good. I stopped it in time. Go for it.
This different location we're in is a location that has cats.
That's right. There is officially 200% more cats on the Tuesday show now.
One might say 1,000% more cats plus 2.
All right.
More accurately.
Fine. If you want to be technical with
10,000% more
you want
cats
to be all mathy
plus 2.
on me and stuff like that. So
I'm sure you'll see them hop in and out of here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We weren't here last week. We didn't do the show. That was on account of me.
It's your fault.
Indeed it was. I was in Chicago for the Injustice Pro Series Grand Finals.
Yes, that is correct. And so that was... it was weird that they broadcast on a Tuesday. I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely right.
I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
I asked people involved in the production, hey, why are we doing this at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday? And there was never like a great answer to that question. So I'm not sure. The best answer that anybody thought to give me, I wasn't asking anybody who I think like would really have known. I was just like, hey, what do you guys... the best answer that I heard was maybe like, since it was on TV at night, maybe the only time that they could get for it to be on TV was Tuesday evening.
That's right. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
That's my only thought.
People are saying Tuesday is the most watched television. I thought that was Thursday, because wasn't that like when, like Cosby Show and Family Ties and, it was must-see TV, Friends, etc., etc.
Boy, the youngest of those is 20 years old, so I don't know.
Actually, that's true, because on Tuesday now is like NCIS, and NCIS is like one of the most popular shows on TV right now. So
Friends probably ended 20 years ago, actually.
Probably. I think there was one of those like 20 years ago things already.
I was saying like that was when it started, but that's probably when it ended.
Hey, shout-outs to Mormigal right there. Voted for us. The award-nominated esports casting duo.
That's right. We have been nominated. We'll talk about that in a little while. But let's talk first about some of the big tournaments that have happened over the past couple of weeks. And first, since I was there and we're already talking about it, I might as well just talk about the Injustice Pro Series Grand Finals.
That's right. And, hey, who's the genius here who predicted the outcome?
Did I?
Yeah, you said that you went through the bracket. Remember, you said I have Sonic Fox. You thought he was going to go to losers bracket, though.
I think that's true. Yeah, I thought Biohazard would send him to the loser side.
But didn't he? He did go to losers, right?
He did not.
He just went through straight.
Yeah,
through?
he just busted through. Wait, right? Now you're making me question.
No, you're right. He was in winner's side. He was in winner's side. Because
okay.
I remember looking at the bracket. I thought it was top 8, but it was only the top 16 bracket. And when I saw Sonic Fox on the lower half, I was like, "Who sent him to losers?" And it was the 16, not the 8. And I was
he was fine.
Yeah.
And I also had Rewind in Grand Finals with him getting second place, by the way.
There you go.
So I just thought they're the two best players. That's all. It didn't seem like a big stretch to me. And many other people who had similar bracket predictions, so not going out on a limb in any stretch. It was fun. It was in a club in Chicago.
Interesting.
So they basically turned a nightclub into like a hangout / place where you could watch fighting games. There were drinks there. People were getting sauce the whole day. It was. Obviously I wasn't, but there was lots of people. Seriously, I take it seriously personally. But plenty of people were just having a good time. It seemed like a lot of fun if you were there just hanging out. Again, bummer that it started at 9 in the morning. Bummer as well that because it started so early, there were, I think, 3 hours between the end of the getting up to the top 4 and then the top 4's broadcast on TV and also on Twitch.
Which is kind of neat because they filmed that by replaying what had happened earlier in the day. I didn't get to see that, so I watched a little bit of that part. So that actually worked. But
all right.
To be honest with you, like I saw in the chat and I saw a lot of people on Twitter and everybody kind of being mad about the 3-hour delay there and everything like that. And honestly, like I get why they're mad, but I also get why it's there. Knowing tournament standard time, you built in yourself a 3-hour buffer. I actually think that's kind of smart.
It seems to me maybe like 1 too many hours. Like if it were 2 hours, but
I guess dependent on who was running it.
Well, I mean, all the players were there. You know, it wasn't like some regular open tournament. But in about the hour and a half before we started, that's when we started doing rehearsals for TV. So we like needed to have some time to actually be able to do that. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. Fun to hang out with everybody. Very fun to see the players play. Awesome matches.
And Sonic Fox is just... He's a ridiculous human being. He's a ridiculous human being. By the way, I just want to mention everybody at home, apologies about the slight buzz. Like if I do this, the buzz goes away. And then it comes back if I do this. It's actually not as bad as it was last time I was messing with it, but it might actually be the mixer that we have, so I'll look into trying to get a new one, potentially, but otherwise it's fine right now, so just want to apologize.
So Sonic Fox won the whole thing. He played Joker, Captain Cold, and Black Manta.
Right.
Second place was Rewind, Noble Rewind, who played Batman, Catwoman, Blue Beetle, and Firestorm. Third place was Scar, who played Supergirl, Brainiac, Superman, and Red Hood. Are there any repeats in those first 3? No.
I didn't hear any.
There's none.
But here's an interesting thing, though. I'm looking at the list here, and until tied for 7th, everybody else only used one character. Do you feel like Injustice is like a Super Turbo, is like a hyper fighting kind of game, where, you know, back then learning more than one character was just par for the course. You just learned characters because you just learned counter picks. Is that what you feel like Injustice 2 is like? Or do you think guys like Samij and Simplicity and Hayate rocking one character... Oh yeah, it's Tweety, I'm sorry. Just rocking one character is the right or wrong thing to do?
I feel like they're both fine. Like, as long as you have a character that covers most matchups, like Catwoman does and like Starfire does, then you're fine. But you can also play different characters. I feel like it's really just up to the player. There's just a trend in the NRS scene to play a bunch of different characters. It's always been like that. Like, it's been more about counterpicking than it has, like, let's learn all the things about the matchup. So I think it's a culture thing as well. So top 4 was Fox, Rewind, Scar, Samij. And then Tweety, who a lot of people thought would win it or get grand finals, was 5th. He was really upset about that. Hayate, Gur, Silver Rider on the top 8.
When Gur lost, dude, I almost he just looked dumbfounded. I mean, he was heartbroken.
It wasn't just looked. I mean, I don't know if it came through on the broadcast, but that man gave a yelp.
Did he? Oh,
and
I didn't know if
I wasn't even there. I was like I was watching, but I was in another part of the venue, and I could hear him from there.
Oh my god!
Like upstairs in another room.
Jeez.
I talked with him later about it, and he said he was fine afterward. You know, he just was just like, I was caught up in the moment.
Yeah,
like, it really mattered to me. I was just very important.
Dude, how could it not?
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I'm not the one who's gonna be like, oh shoot, I can't believe, like me of all people, right? Sure. Like I understand everything that he's going through at that point in time. Just thinking about it, I'm like tearing up right now.
He's so nice. What a nice guy, genuine guy.
I mean, that whole community is nice. We haven't even talked about it yet, but I'll talk about it after you go through all the players here.
All right. So, Silver Rise 7th with Hellboy and Batman. Tweety, Starfire, Hayate, Robin, Gur, Adam. Then you got 9th place, which is Tekken Master, with Fate, Arrow, Brainiac, and Bane. Then you got Gross, who's Black Adam, Irish Mantis, Atrocitus, Honeybee, Flash. Then 13th, tied for 13th to round it out, CLN Basics with Starfire, Brainiac, Happy Pow with Flash, BC Biohazard with Bane, Harley Quinn, and Cheetah, and Isurus, Hey George, with Enchantress, Joker, Leonardo, and Blue Beetle.
Okay.
There were a total of 26 characters used.
That's sick.
26 out of the 38 characters.
That's really, really sick.
You know, when you go on the internet, if you go to testyourmight.com, which is one of the big hubs for the NRS scene, people on there will always tell you, oh, this is a game about Starfire counter picks.
Imbalanced.
It's imbalanced. You have to have, it's just about your Starfire secondary, or whatever character is the thing. If before that it was Deadshot, whatever. It's never been like that. It's even back in MK9, it was never like that.
Right.
Even though that game was much less balanced. But now that the games are balanced, it's absolutely not like that. Like you could reasonably use half the cast and expect to win. You could reasonably use 2/3, it turns out, of the cast and expect to win.
Right. I mean, look. This is
pretty
just
awesome.
It's the nature, I think, again, not to be, the old man of the room and everything like that, but I feel like a lot of it is just being unaware. I'm just going to use the old man
Do
word.
it.
Being spoiled by modern fighting games, because a lot of people don't think, like, they complain about every game about how crazy unbalanced these games are. Oh my God, like, Cammy's the best, and Starfire is the best, and everything like that. And
Can't beat her.
You look at the way that old games were. I mean, like, that is legit. You can't beat these characters.
Arc System Works put out on Twitter that BlazBlue was released 10 years ago, and I was just thinking about the time that I spent in the arcade with BlazBlue with CT, the first one, playing Tager against Carl and Nu and Arakune. Let me tell you, there are some matchups that people today just wouldn't believe.
Dude, Arakune in the first one was silly. Because, like, before he had to poison you, like, now he has to poison you, like, 3 times, like, he builds up the meter, and then things start happening. Before, he just poisoned you with 1 hit. He had a fog that you couldn't block and would poison you.
And was basically Tager height.
Yeah.
It was just very stupid.
And once it started up, bugs flew all over the screen. And that wasn't even that long ago. That was only 10 years ago, but that was also during the point where Mori laughed at poor Breaker Dave.
That was even later than that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So the fact that, anyways, I'm totally veering off topic here.
But for sure, the game is quite nicely balanced. I think it's in a great spot. And by the way, I think there are even more characters than this who are reasonably.
Oh yeah.
Like, for example, Sonic Fox won a tournament with Black Canary.
Right.
This year. She's not even on this list. Scarecrow's not even on this list.
Yeah,
like
Scarecrow's
good.
And even Plant Dude, Swamp Thing. He's not bad, right?
Well, I don't think he's bad. I think it's good, but it's other people disagree with me on that. So I do think that there's more. This is probably the last time that Injustice 2 is going to be played on this level by this many people. The game is not doing great scene-wise. The dude who got third place...
Press F for Injustice 2 here.
The dude who got third place, nicely done, even said on Twitter, like right beforehand, I haven't been playing this game. I don't like this game. This game makes me sweat. And since then, people have been playing MKX, they've been playing Soul Calibur, they've been playing Dragon Ball. So if this was the last big tournament that happened for this game, I actually think that it went about as well as it could have. Like, it was super fun. The matches were really close.
Dude, they were really hyped.
They were really hyped.
A lot of them went to the last game, and a lot of them came down to like the last second and stuff. So last hits and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was a blast. It's a bummer to me to see the game go because it's one of my favorites, but that probably is what's happening.
Well, while we are talking about this, I also, like I said, we talked about Gurr and how upset he was and everything like that. But let's talk a little bit about Sonic Fox here, right? He won.
Yes.
And it's funny because he was like, "Money isn't the thing for me," and I was like, "Well, of course, because you've already won." Like
exactly. Yeah. He's got some luxury.
But obviously this meant a lot for Rewind because I didn't know about this, but his dad is going through cancer right now, cancer treatment, and I'm sure winning this tournament would have helped a lot financially for all that stuff like that, so I'm sure he wanted really badly to win. But then when Sonic Fox won, that was the first thing he said when Joshua Gray interviewed him was basically, it's not about the money. I'm donating $10,000 to Rewind to help his family and his dad was watching on TV when he said that and everything like that from the hospital bed and stuff. So, I mean, dude, shout outs to Sonic Fox. Look, he may have a really, you can't browse his timeline at work or whatever like that, and he may have certain lifestyle choices that you don't agree with, but this man is just a solid human being.
Super nice.
He's just such a great person.
He really is. I think he's such a good ambassador.
Yeah, he's such an epitome. And you know what? I'm actually kind of sad they did cut him off on the TV because you heard what he said, right?
Yes.
He tweeted out that because after he won Evo, first thing he tweeted was, "I'm gay."
Right.
And so on TV, he wanted to say, "I'm gay and I'm a furry," but they cut him off before he had a chance to say that.
The reason for that had nothing to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
But so all that happened was that Josh Gray gets in his ear, okay, you have about a minute to talk to Sonic Fox. And then, like, 10 seconds later, they're like, never mind, something changed. You have 5 seconds. And Josh was like, oh! And it was like, all right,
no,
like,
trust me.
It's just one of those TV things.
It's a TV broadcast, and
yeah.
I understand scheduling and stuff like that. So, but still, I mean, what a dude. What a guy, honestly. And, I still see this a lot in chat when people are talking about how, like, oh, well, Sonic Fox still hasn't won anything in Street Fighter, so he's... I mean, at this point in time, just, like, honestly, give it up. Dude, give it up. Sonic Fox is, without question, one of the greatest fighting game players of all time, if not the greatest of all time. And he could win anything that he cared about, basically.
Absolutely right.
I mean, the fact that he's not playing Street Fighter V doesn't mean he can't win. It just means he doesn't care.
He's going up against some of the other best players of all time in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and he's beating them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're taking out people like Kazunoko, or at least going even with Goichi,
yeah,
I mean, Dogura, like, these are some of the best ever.
Right.
And he's right up there. So, it's whatever.
I've seen it. I've seen it in people talking about it in chats and stuff like that, and there's no merit to it.
No merit.
There's no merit to it, absolutely. So
for sure. I also wanted to talk about one of my favorite moments of the event, which was Scar.
Dude, okay, I'm jumping the gun.
Yes.
But I really wanted Punk to say the same thing.
I know, I thought the same thing.
I thought
the same thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, after he finally gets to third place, which nobody had predicted, many people had him going 0-2 or 1-2 in the tournament. He got up on the stage when Josh went to interview him, and he said, Echo Fox, where are you at? Because, of course, he had been let go by Echo Fox not long ago. I thought that was a blast. That was hilarious. It's like a great personality thing.
Yeah.
Because that basically is Scar. He's super nice, but he's not afraid to tell you like what he thinks about things. And very funny guy. And that was, I thought, like a perfect like encapsulation of him. It was so good.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just it was a great moment for him. And it was just one of those things that, I mean, as soon as it happened, I just tweeted, I was like, wow, wow, Scar, wow. But it was great because, that's kind of what the fighting game community is about.
Yeah.
It's about those kind of personalities, and it's about that kind of pop off in those weird ways. And it's part of me, like I said, so spoiler alert, Echo Fox. Punk did really well this weekend at Red Bull, in fact, even winning one of the events. And I expected him to just be like, Echo Fox, where you at?
Funny.
Oh, God, it would have been
He has a new team, though. So
yeah, he probably can't do that.
Yeah, that would have been very funny, though. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. Great. If last tournament, then awesome.
What a way to send it off.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, so I mean, it was. I mean, I just wish it wasn't on Tuesday. That's all.
Oh, dude, I'm absolutely with you. But yeah, I mean, Joker won a tournament this year. This is all Sonic Fox. Joker won. He won with Michelangelo, and he won with Black Canary. He basically can play anything. And Joker was a lot of fun. It's a very rare character to see.
It's great for TV.
It really was.
Joker
versus Batman.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like so perfect. It was so cool.
It's so good, dude. It's so good.
Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun there. Shout outs to everybody involved. So what do you want to get to next? We got a couple of Red Bulls to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about Red Bull.
Red Bull, which one?
See, this was the confusing part. Like, I felt like there were so many top 8s. Like, I swear it felt like there was like 9 people who won a Street Fighter tournament that weekend.
Red Bull Conquest then, because there was also Kumite.
But I understood exactly what happened. So there was basically 3 events, right? So there was Red Bull Conquest, which they've been doing all year long, of course, Rise, Rally, Conquer, boom. And they had the 3 games there, and so they had the tournament to determine which city gets to go to Evo Japan.
Yeah.
Then there was the NA Finals, which was the last chance, which was the premiere there was the premiere event.
The open premiere.
The open premiere that anybody could enter, including like Takedo.
Cat? You definitely just said Cat.
because
He was petting a cat.
she's pulling on my shirt.
Hilarious.
She's pulling on my shirt. including Japanese players or whomever.
Yeah.
And then there was the NA finals, which was just the top 8 people who went up against each other.
Also known as the NARF.
North America Regional Finals. NARF!
Yeah, exactly right. Ever since I realized it was that, I've just
conquer
been
the
calling
world.
it the NARF. Yeah. Yeah, like I was a little disappointed that they didn't say that on stream. I feel like that's perfect. You're at Red Bull Conquest.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's called the NARF. Come on.
What are you going to do tonight, Brian? Try to conquer Street Fighter.
You might have said NARF, but did you link it to the Conquest joke? Huh? I gotta text you guys all my jokes from now on. That's what I gotta do.
Is there more? Wait, what is the NARF and Conquest connection here?
They're trying to conquer the world.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. Yeah,
It's
okay.
just a
So
pinky in the brain
yeah,
joke.
okay,
That's
okay.
all.
I just wanted to make sure that they didn't take it and put it into like World of Warcraft and appropriate NARF or something like
Appropriate
that.
it?
Yeah,
No, I don't think so. Anyway, by the way, very nicely done on commentary. I see Vicious is in there.
Oh, yeah.
As per usual, everybody did great. A lot of fun. I didn't go there, of course.
Yes.
That said, while the matches and commentary were great, and maybe it was cool to be there, from a viewing perspective, some problems. It was not a lot of stuff was shown live.
Okay.
So I think none of the Last Chance qualifier was shown live. There was a replay of it. Then.
Right. Yeah. I
part
remember
of
Capcom
the-
mentioning that it was like due to scheduling.
Well, that was the
conflicts,
previous day. That was, while Red Bull's stuff was
okay,
going on.
okay.
And then on Sunday, most of the loser side of the top 8 of the Open Premiere was not streamed.
Oh, okay.
So that was really unfortunate. It was just, the last 3 events of the Capcom Pro Tour this year have unfortunately all had issues. Canada Cup, right? We talked about that, being shut off earlier, not even being streamed at all in the top 8. Then you had the Latin American finals, which was capped at
that's right,
128,
yeah.
and there was no prize pool. And then you had this one, which was not streamed for a big percentage of it. So,
Dude.
it's a bummer.
Look, I'm just going to say one thing. When Vicious when he said, the Tokido players out there, when he was referring to Akuma, and he said the Tokido players, 100% I have done the same thing.
Me too.
Especially with Akuma and Tokido and Adon and Gamerby. I have definitely called Adon Gamerby before, and
Yep.
I've definitely called Akuma Tokido before. So when Vicious did that, I was like, I totally get it. It makes sense that he's my son, dude. Like, it totally makes sense. So yeah.
Anyway, I don't know exactly why the scheduling was weird and stuff wasn't shown on stream. It's just, that's really unfortunate. This is the last big event before Capcom Cup. It would have been great if it had been on stream, but unfortunately it was not.
But I'll tell you one thing though: the matches and the results, very, very interesting.
Yeah,
very,
the matches
very,
were great.
Very cool.
All the stuff we saw. Which part do you want to talk about 1st?
Let's talk about the Conquest first. So again, the Conquest. So people, if they're not remembering, is they all year long throughout all the different cities, they've been running events to determine who was going to represent the city. Right. This is one of my favorite aspects of it. So they had players from all over the country and even some cities in Canada as well. And so basically they played Street Fighter V, Tekken 7, and Guilty Gear Xrd, right? So they played all 3 of those games, and the winner of each of the local cities got to represent their city as a 3-man team in the Red Bull Conquest Finals. Each game had their own tournament made out of just those players there, and then they would win points by winning on the winner's side or winning on loser's side, and then also winning like the tournament, placing in the top few spots to determine the team with the highest total, and they would actually get to go to Evo Japan. That's their grand prize, is a free trip to Evo Japan, which was actually super cool.
Very cool.
And I really, really enjoyed that. So
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. So for the individual games themselves, in Guilty Gear, Dot Nova won it with Jacko over Lost Soul Elfelt.
Which is crazy.
You know I'm no expert in that game, but that character looks pretty wild when she gets going.
Dude, that's what basically all she is. Like, she's not considered one of the strongest characters, but once she gets going, nobody wants to play Jacko, against Jacko.
Okay.
Like, even if she's not the top tier, like, nobody wants to play against that character. Because once everything starts going, it's just, I hate everything. Yeah. Like, you literally can't do anything, and it's really annoying, and in a way, I kind of want to learn her.
Dude, I thought she looked sick. Like, that's not like my favorite. I don't dislike it, but I don't play that game. But that actually, I was like, interesting. Maybe, and this is probably just Dot Nova playing super well, but it didn't seem like it was that hard for her to get going either.
It depends on. It takes a lot of work to get it to set it up. But because the thing about it is, you can destroy the houses while they're sitting there, and once they do, everything reverts back to zero. If she gets hit, everybody disappears and all that. So it's so much about pulling.
If she gets hit, all the little dudes disappear.
Yeah, and so basically, it's about managing the houses too, because you can pick them up and then absorb them back in, and that preserves their level and recharges their energy. So the houses have hit points in them, and if you destroy the houses, they go away, and then you got to start building them over again. But if you pick them up and suck them back in, one, they don't generate any more dudes anymore, but you replenish their life and maintain the level, so the next time you plant it out, but then you could toss them, and so it's just, it's so much management that, like, I'm sure that once you get good at it, there's just great sequences. Like, there are literal combos of you planting houses in the middle of combos, so that the guys who stab will stab at the exact time for you to extend combos and stuff like that. But, like, God, that just takes, it's so much work.
That sounds super cool.
It's so much work, dude, so.
Cool.
But yeah.
I feel like a lot of characters in that game do very different things in neutral to end up doing the same thing as like a meaty situation.
Yes.
But for her, she looks like she actually is doing like pretty unique stuff like the whole time. So
a lot of Guilty Gear is basically everybody.
Unprofessional opinion, obviously.
Well, I mean, even from a person who plays Guilty Gear, a lot of the Guilty Gear really is about knocking them down to get your things started, to get your craziness started. And to be honest with you, if you think about it, it's almost kind of like what like Street Fighter V is, right? Like Laura is a Guilty Gear character. Like she's literally a Guilty Gear character because she's like, I'm in this weird. Oh, got one grab. Here we go, and then everything starts from there, right? So Guilty Gear is basically everybody in Street Fighter V with V triggers that you can use anytime you want.
Anyway, that was a lot of fun. Tekken 7 was won by Jimmy J. Tran over Joey Fury.
Yeah,
I thought it was super sick that
was such a good grand finals,
this guy Glaciating, I guess, is a new person in the scene, and he got third place there, which is super sick.
Yeah, apparently he's an online player, and he plays online all the time, and so that's why he qualified on the online team.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and apparently Tokido was like super excited. Like someone tweeted out that they saw Tokido running up to the stage taking a picture of Jimmy J. Tran and Glaciating while they were playing against each other and stuff.
Wow,
and
sick.
They talked to Tokido, and he actually says he misses competing in all the different games and stuff.
Of course.
One of the games that he loved a lot was Soul Calibur V. So apparently, I think it was Markman who was talking about this. So I think, because remember he used to use Viola, the chick with the orb. She was the
not
orb
surprised,
chick.
but yeah.
But he apparently wants to get into Soul Calibur 6. Cool. Yeah, apparently wants to get into Soul Calibur 6.
It's such a good game. That'd be awesome.
It's a wild game.
Oh, it's so fun.
It is such a wild
blast.
game. Like, I get mad at it, like, just in terms of, like, how, because I just keep dying to stupid things. Well, but every time I think about the game, I just want to go back and play it. Because it's just wild. The game is just wild. Like, Anyways, I have certain opinions on that game.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, sure.
I like Reversal Edge, by the way. Street Fighter V was won by Punk over Nephew in the mirror match.
Yeah.
He Colleened him.
But apparently he's done that all the time. He's played Colleen in Nephew in a grand finals of an online tournament, I think it was, and there was somebody
also
else, Momochi or something like that,
Momochi,
he played Colleen. So
E-League.
I'm really curious about that. I really wish I could ask him, like, what was the reason why he likes Colleen versus Colleen so much.
That's a good question.
But I gotta tell you one thing. I mean, we'll talk about Punk a little bit more later as well. So
okie doke. Then you had the open premiere.
This was anybody
could play
this one. Yes.
That was won by CJ Truth. CJ, who played crazy good. Man, CJ Truth played amazingly. Amazingly well.
It was one of the main times that I feel like I actually saw someone using Cammy that I felt like they were doing some, like, actually like crazy stuff.
Like actually cheap.
Yeah. Or not even just cheap, but just like
That's what I thought.
Just like doing things like crazy hit confirms, like the young man reactions and everything like that. Because normally you watch all the camis, they're not that different from each other, right? I mean, let's be honest, right? So, but I felt like CJ Truth was like on some weird different level with that character during that tournament, and he played on fire. So he was amazing.
He really was. He beat Tokido, who got second place.
Again.
He was up 2-0 over against Tokido in winners finals.
Right.
Ended up losing 3-2. So good stuff by Tokido. But then CJ Truth made the complete run back in grand finals, resetting it and then winning the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, Tokido, I mean, it's funny because he's been getting a lot of second places, although he did win Canada Cup. But he's also been facing a few camis in grand finals because he had to do that against Shanghai Canada Cup. But guys, like, it's funny because you want to joke about a second place curse, but like I can't even imagine another player who's been as dominant as this man has been in Street Fighter V in any game.
Long time since
any
it's
game,
happened.
because even in a game like MVC2 with Justin winning so many years, right? I mean, honestly, he had like, 5, maybe 6 people who could legit like maybe.
That scene was ass compared to the SF5 scene of modern
the
times.
Street Fighter V
Ass.
scene is ridiculous right now.
The talent involved.
Like, there are at least 30 to 40 people who could probably beat Tokido on any given day if they just had the right day and Tokido was kind of like slightly off. And so the fact that Tokido has been able to have this kind of streak of second and first place finishes is, I mean, someone posted up that the times that he got first and second in Street Fighter V, and someone's like, I really want to see what the list looks like when you see his other placements. And there were less of those than there were of first and seconds. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's like half the amount.
Crazy.
It's nuts, dude. He's so good.
Well, by getting into grand finals, by beating John Takeuchi, CJ Truth qualified for Capcom Cup. He had enough points beforehand that getting into that spot assured him of his place in the Capcom Cup. But that also kicked John Takeuchi out. If John Takeuchi had beaten CJ, he would have gotten into Capcom Cup.
I didn't know that. So there was a lot
losers
on
finals
that.
was to get into Capcom Cup.
Oh, Takeuchi must have been heartbroken after that.
I mean, you got to think it, yeah.
God, that sucks because, either one of those kids, if they had lost, they only would have had like another 20 years to try to get back into Capcom Cups and stuff like that. So,
fourth place was Storm Kubo, which is cool.
Who made it in?
Yeah, he's. I think he already was.
But he guaranteed his spot by beating Itazan, I think.
Oh, like earlier in the tournament. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So.
Toy got 5th. Samurai got 5th. Phenom and Knuckle Dew got 7th. They're already in there. Awesome for CJ. I thought it would have been cool if Toy had won.
So, remember when we talked about the free agents and I said that we named the players that we felt weren't the obvious ones that are good free agents, and I mentioned Toy.
Yeah.
Talked about him at SCR. I think he's amazing, and I definitely think he needs to travel more. And shout-outs once again to the FGC giving to the FGC. But Justin Wong said, I think Toy deserves another shot. I'm sponsoring him to go to the Vegas Capcom Cup, finals for the last chance qualifier. Because he's like, I think Toy could win that. So I want him to get into Capcom Cup. So for Capcom Cup, he's going to be Wong Nation Toy, which I think is awesome. So
amazing.
Shout outs to Justin again.
So after
is this supposed to be Toy or is it Toy? I don't believe it's Toy.
I've only ever heard Toy, including by people who are from his region. So I don't know. I mean, if we're speaking French, then it's
it's Toy. Yeah.
For sure, it's just Toy.
It's
so,
Toy. Yeah.
Anyway, then the NARF happened. Punk won that.
Yep, again. And you know what? I gotta say something here. One, I'm glad that he's mostly Karen right now, although obviously he was going crazy with some Sagats earlier, like against XSK Samurai. I mean, he played against XSK Samurai, used Sagat 2 matches against Izukuma, got blown up, and was like, okay, now I'll play for real.
I wouldn't even say blown up, to be honest, but yeah.
He lost, right.
Yeah.
But then he picked Karen, and then it was just like, it looked like Samurai didn't know what he was doing.
Steamrolled.
And a lot of it, I place a lot of emphasis on this kind of thing. This means a lot to me. But his attitude, his expressions, the old Punk personality, I felt like was back. And a lot of that, I really do feel like one was not representing Echo Fox anymore. I actually feel like that might actually help him a little bit more. Maybe he could be a little more of him. Maybe he feels a little bit more loose now. He can just kind of do whatever he wants. And two, it's because he's sticking with Karen again. I really think the Cammy choice hurt him a lot.
I'm with you.
I think it made him lose practice in Karen. He kept trying her in different matches and stuff like that. So I think Punk is Karen. And I
agree with people in the chat that I think that he's one of the players who probably most benefits from the reduced input lag. Because like I said, I don't think that this is like a major factor, but on the margins it matters, and I think that he's one of the players who it could most matter for. So I'm not surprised to see him doing well now. He was already doing well before that, by the way, but he was already kind of like on the come up again.
Because I mean, one of the first 5-5 matchups that we ever did was talking about what's wrong with Punk, right? And honestly, I love seeing that he's back right now. And,
100%.
you know, he's put himself back into that position where I feel like he is a threat to take Capcom Cup.
Sure.
Definitely believe he has that ability right now.
So Punk, then CJ Truth, then IDOM. Now, if IDOM had won this event, then he would have made it into Capcom Cup. Whoever wins the Nerf gets into Capcom Cup. But he also would have kicked out Chris Tatarian. So Chris needed one of Justin Wong, Knuckle-Doo, CJ Truth, or Punk, and that is to say the players who had already qualified for Capcom Cup, to win this event in order to get into Capcom Cup himself, and that is what happened.
And obviously was extremely ecstatic when, who was it that it was CJ Truth who beat him, right?
Correct, yeah. CJ ended up beating IDOM, and then therefore securing Chris's spot.
Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention this after the Conquest stuff, but thanks to Punk and Lost Souls placement, New York is the one that's going into Evo Japan, and so they're going to make it that. I mean, I would imagine Lost Soul, when he was picking Sagat versus XA Samurai, Lost Soul was probably like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But now... I mean, dude, how cool is that? Lost Soul is another one of those guys who was just an online player, right? And he was just an online player. Then he finally went to an event, like won his first event, and then Justin sponsored him, so he got to go to more events, got into Red Bull Conquest. Now he's going to Evo Japan. This man, because he played Guilty Gear at home online, is going to go to Japan to play Guilty Gear in Evo.
Yeah.
Like, it's like one of those cool stories.
It is cool.
Oh, man.
It definitely
makes
is
me
cool.
so happy.
For sure.
Oh,
for sure. Well, that's about it in terms of results from Red Bull Conquest. Now, as I was going through some of the issues with the stream, I had forgotten to mention until I saw it in the chat about the wild viewership numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, literally unbelievable
But
numbers
someone said that they were on the front page of Twitch.
They were, and I said that as well, and Rick reminded me, or maybe it was...
It was Rick.
Was it Rick?
Rick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Said that that's usually the case. That the major fighting game events are usually for their finals on the front page of Twitch.
And not that.
And
doesn't get that much increase. So
not like in the... anywhere near that amount of numbers.
And what a lot of people were saying, which was odd, was that there wasn't much participation in the chat for 80K viewers.
For sure.
Right? When you get to 80, 85K viewers, usually the chat is crazier. What that means to me is that it was probably embedded on something that Red Bull was promoting, and then like maybe anyone who was visiting the Red Bull website, it was playing in the corner or something like that, or something.
Yeah.
Like, because it was interesting because Slasher also pointed out that some of Red Bull's YouTube videos had like 700,000 views on them, but then like 51 thumbs ups and like 3 thumbs down. He was like, that's weird. But someone said it's because they were advertisements, so that whenever you started watching a YouTube video, it would come on and then go away. And so that's where the view numbers come from. So I assume something similar was happening with
like they're not botting, right? Like there's Red Bull's too advanced of an organization to do that kind of nonsense. So yeah, I'm sure you're right that it was something like that, but still weird, pretty weird. And then the finals day, Sunday, well, the finals of the CPT stuff on Sunday had a 7th of those numbers, a 6th, right? Something like that.
But it also looked like it wasn't open for people to go into the channel to like check it out and hang out or not people live to go check it out, because there was nobody in the audience. That whole
I don't know what the deal was with that, but you're right. It did seem like there was almost nobody there on finals day.
And so just so people at home know about this, we have the TV in front of us, so this chat can scroll, so we can read the chat while we're looking forward. Jasmine is literally just sitting right in front of me. I can't see a damn thing on this thing. I don't know if you can actually see.
Oh, wow. What a genius idea.
Look at this.
You're giving them a view of themselves.
She's just sitting right in front of the TV like this because this is what she does. She likes to sit in front of TVs because she knows that's what we're looking at.
She's even looking at the part of the screen that has most of the chat, like the side where the chat is mostly there.
Yeah, that's
unless
exactly
you write
where
a full
standing.
sentence that goes all the way across the screen. Nice work.
Yeah. Jasmine.
Nice work. Oh, she just blinked at you.
She's giving the slow blinks. Yeah, exactly.
All right, you got a slow blink, a little trusting cat blink.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anything else to talk about for Conquest?
Again, look, shout outs to Red Bull. I love what they do. I love the stuff that they do for the FGC. They always, like, they're esports, but they're like the least esports of the esportsy kind of things. You know what I mean? So,
they definitely are authentic and they really care. Like the people who they have had in charge are mostly fighting game people.
Right.
Anyway,
exactly.
right? Like they work for Red Bull, but their history is mostly in fighting games. So
right. And
there's some authenticity for sure.
That is what makes me happy. Every time I see a Red Bull event, I feel like they do a really good job with the event, and hope that they keep doing stuff next year. Like, I mean, I don't know if I can hope for Guilty Gear coming back kind of thing, but what if they put BB Tag instead?
Oh boy, I would be a happy man.
Can you imagine if they did like 4 games instead, and they did like BB Tag, Tekken, Street Fighter, and Soul Calibur? Like that would be, dude,
I'd be so happy.
Dude, that would be such a dream, dude.
I'd be so happy.
That'd be so sick.
All right,
Okay.
good job to them. Now, Dreamhack Atlanta also occurred.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that was on the same weekend as the Red Bull stuff.
It was. This is all last weekend, yeah.
Which was interesting because this is the one that we talked about where the Dragon Ball tournament disappeared, but they also had like Tekken and other stuff, but so did the Red Bull, so I'm interesting to see. I mean, I guess they wouldn't conflict too much because the Red Bull Tekken tournament was only for the city winners, right? It wasn't an open tournament, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah.
Well, there was a last chance like qualifier to be part of the...
Oh, that's right. There was.
But anyway. Now, the highlight of this event was Brawlhalla.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
Okay.
Because there was a $50,000 prize pool.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. We never talk about this game. I've never played it. I only know one person who has played it, and that's Tubaware.
Right. But I heard
a big fan
the
of it.
scene is huge for this game.
I was going to say, although the like established FGC basically ignores it, there's a giant amount of players.
Yeah.
Huge player base.
Obviously, a lot of it is from the Smash side of the fighting game community because it's the same kind of game. It's platform fighter, right?
I'm not even sure how much crossover there is there. Maybe there is, but I would be surprised because it just seems like there's just like an endemic, like just Brawlhalla players rather than people who are like, yeah, I'm a Street Fighter and Brawlhalla player, or I'm a Melee and Brawlhalla player.
Someone in the chat saying that it's on Switch right now for free, so maybe I'll have to grab it and check it out and find out what's going on there. But yeah, 50K.
Yeah, it's free to play.
50K is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's huge. I mean, that's an indication of how many people are playing. Mm-hmm. It's free to play, and yet they have all of this money because there's other things you can spend money on, and enough people are playing that is happening.
Dude,
it's huge.
Free to play it's a smart way to go, and I'm still waiting for like a fighting game to. I mean, obviously they've done it before. KI has done it and everything like that, and but I would like to see. Like, oh man, can you imagine if Capcom actually tried doing that for Street Fighter VI, or if NRS did that for MK11?
Ooh, boy. Remember the rumors that would happen in SF5?
Yeah.
That did not.
Dude, I mean, I feel like it was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Because remember on the server side, they could shut off players. Like, there was one update that you were like, where did Armika go?
Yep, I do.
She just disappeared. And from the slot on the selection screen that she was on literally disappeared. So I wonder if there was like some kind of idea for it in the first place.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
DOA was free to play as well. Yeah.
Sandstorm won with Mordex.
Okay. Nice.
Wrenched got second place with Asuri. Just gonna move on from that one. So Soul Calibur was there. Party Wolf won it with Killick, but also with Sungmina.
Oh,
Sungmina.
I'm not surprised. That was a character that I kind of wanted to pick up just because. She was kind of what I thought Killick was supposed to be.
Right.
But you know what I found out? I found out that Siegfried is what I thought Killick was going to be.
Oh, okay.
Just wild sword swinging that
He's
reaches
just doing this all the
dude,
time.
that character. So I played against
Doing
Olaf
some of these.
recently, right? Just offline here, and I was like, I'll try to learn Talon. That was a bad mistake to try to learn that character against Siegfried.
Okay.
Because I have 0 range.
Right, you have to be right up close.
And I've never labbed her in training mode, so I didn't even know what I was doing on offense. And so I'm just running into swords left and right, and I'm just like, this sucks.
So I played against Rico Suave online.
Does he use Siegfried?
He does use Siegfried. Siegfried main. He won probably 2 or 3 times as many games as I won rounds. I basically got demolished. In the first 9 games, I didn't win a single round. However, I did end up winning 3 or 4 games out of the whole set, which is maybe 30-ish games.
Right,
So I was learning a little bit, but, you know.
Dude, Siegfried is
I'm not great.
ridiculous. Siegfried
he seems good, but I don't know for sure.
He feels kind of face-mashy to me.
No, I mean, he's like, as I started to figure it out, you know, it's all like understandable. It's just, whenever you play against somebody who's good with any character in that game for the first time, you're like, what's happening? It's very confusing. It's very disorienting. That's the case with everybody that I've played against so far.
I feel like he's very, when I was talking to Olaf about it, he was mentioning that you've got to really use guard impacts against him. And I was just like, it seems kind of weird to force, have a strategy against the character be guard impacts, but especially because the timing on everything is so wildly varying, you know what I mean?
You just gotta know it.
I don't know.
You just gotta learn, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so second place was Sane with Ivy. Third place was Dragon with Ivy. Dragon of NRS player heritage, but who is now basically one of the best Soul Calibur players all of a sudden. Link Ors, who has been one of the best Soul Calibur players, got fourth with Geralt, Siegfried, and Gro, or as Flo would say, Geralt, and as I think it's supposed to be pronounced, Gri.
Gri?
I think
Gri.
that's what I've read.
Gri.
But let me know if that's accurate. Then Sonic Fox got fifth with Aswell. Also RTD, then
I heard he went 0-2 in top 8. Sonic Fox.
That makes sense. He got fifth place.
Yeah. But one thing I will mention is I really need to watch this. I didn't know Party Wolf won it.
Yeah.
Because that guy's ridiculous. He's the guy that had been studying for Killick, right? And at first
he ended up taking the whole thing with Sungmina.
Oh, really? Okay. I was kind of down on Killick for a while, but I mean, people in the chat can understand. Like, when they were watching me, I was just like really mad at the character. But the last time I played, the previous time I played Olaf offline. Like, I started really kind of understanding the character a little bit more, and I'm going to stick with him because I think he's kind of fun, actually. And I'm starting to think he's actually he's just not straightforward at all. I thought he was going to be, here's the basic character to help learn the game, kind of like how Nanase is in UNIST, Uniel. That's why I picked Nanase, because she's range and very straightforward. So I was like, I'll just pick this character, and she helped me learn the game. And that's what I was kind of hoping Killick would do, and he was the wrong character for that. But,
for sure.
But honestly, I want to play all these different characters.
Yeah.
Only just because that gives me an excuse to make more costumes.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, I love my costumes right now.
Okay, all right.
I love my.
All right.
After the show, I'm going to show you my costumes, dude. I love
the one that I'm running consistently now is Iron Tiger Astaroth. Which is just Astaroth, but he looks a lot like Iron. I gave him the little things on the arm, and he's all red. He looks pretty sick. Yeah. Anyway, yes, of course I played Astaroth versus Rico.
Because remember, I mentioned to you on Twitter too that every time I see Falk now, I get depressed because my Killick is Falk, and it looks so good, and like she's animated like so nicely, and then I see Street Fighter V, and she's like, and I'm like, no.
Street Fighter V was won by Psycho with Nikali. Ice Effect Laura got second. Golden Sen got third with Dawson and Blanca.
What's he doing down there?
I'm actually not sure. That's a good question. Tekken 7 was won by Speed Kicks with Hwarong. And Pokechop got second with Josie and Dragunov. UIU got third with Ling Xiaoyu.
Oh, nice. Oh, I didn't know she traveled out there. That's
pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, man. BB Tag was won by Flux.
Good job,
with
Flux.
Mitsuru Nu. Second place was PAG Frame 96 with Yu and Jin. Pretty cool to watch. There was a lot of good stuff in the tournament there. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U was won by Tweak with Cloud. Second place was The Buzz with Rosalina Luma. Void. Third was Sheik and Fox.
Okay. Nice.
That game is peacing out. Dreamhack Atlanta. Now, we can go back a couple of weeks and talk about some other stuff. Oh, boy. It was a kitty cat.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, no, but before that.
I want to talk about Climax of Night.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm bringing up now.
So, Climax of Night was a tournament literally put on by Clockwork. He just said, I really want a Melty Blood, French Bread, UNIL tournament. And he put it on himself. He fronted the cost himself. And to try to make up for it, he just tried to sell like T-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. And apparently some people started like some GoFundMes for him and stuff like that. Last I saw, he reported he was like currently at 2K down the hole right now. So, but yeah, so. Wait, what's going on?
It's Shinobi.
Shinobi, yeah, but on Twitter he's Clockwork.
I know.
I'm just calling him by his Twitter handle. Really?
Anyway, I thought that was super cool. I also thought it was great that there was little like French bread nonsense text on the overlay.
On the T-shirt too.
Yeah,
on the T-shirt as well.
That was hilarious.
But the coolest thing about it too was even just after the whole tournament was done. Sorry, Curly. Fine, Shinobi. Fine. I go by Twitter tags, so that's what I'm most used to. That's where I mostly see people from. So, but in any case, he even got the UNIL, like a bunch of their staff to like give them messages and stuff like that. The battle combat designer talked to them. One of the music producers, the singer of the music, the title song. They all like had messages for them, and the battle planner even said, like the battle coordinator even was like, expect new things for UNIST coming soon. So he was even teased, that there was super actually cool new content coming out. And I think that's super crazy. So
it's awesome. Yeah, I think it's great. And there's certainly, I think, a great place. We talked about this before, but it's great to have tournaments that really concentrate on like a certain subset of fighting games, rather than having everything together. It's great to have everything together, but it's also great, I think, too, to really celebrate and really hone in on like a subset. And this is a really very, very deserving one.
And the amount of effort that people have gone through to try to help Shinobi get back to where he's at. Last I saw, he said he was still like down 2K. And the venue was really small if you looked at it. It was like a pretty small kind of venue. So, I mean, it's just, you just see the kind of costs that it takes to run an event like this. Like, he sold a bunch of hoodies and T-shirts, got some donations for people. He's still down 2K. And I'm sure there's...
down 530 now.
Oh, he's only down 5... Oh, Shinobi's here! Holy crap! Okay. But, yeah, like, the fact that, he was down 2K at that one point in time... And some people probably think tournaments only cost like 2K to run. How hard could it be? You rent a room and put a bunch of TVs out there.
Sounds easy.
People don't realize how much work and effort that it goes into that. So absolutely shout outs to Shinobi for the hard work putting on that. I'm not saying this just because he was here. I also like retweeted his stuff, trying to support him and everything like that. And I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really, really cool. I'm happy for him and the event. And he said he can't promise anything for next year, but I really hope he does do stuff for next year, and let me know, Shinobi, because I would like to help promote it as much as possible, more than we did this year. So, for sure. Okay.
Sounds great. Just briefly, Undernight was won by Clear Lamp with Byakuya. Second place is Red Blade.
Right, Clear Lamp. So from Japan, there's a bunch of the players who came from Japan to come and play this event. So that was actually super cool as well.
Definitely.
So,
Cross Tag was won by Tactile East Side, and second place was Master Steph. He was at both, I guess. He was also at BB Tag in DreamHack, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got third place there.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I mean, these both happen in Georgia.
Wait, which one did Flux win? He won.
He won DreamHack Atlanta.
Oh, DreamHack Atlanta. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, this is in College Park, Georgia. Okay, yeah, that's doable.
Yeah. But it was really, really cool to have seen like the Japanese players go out there and everything like that.
Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax Ignition, won by Tamaki. Second place was Takashi.
Mm-hmm.
Multi Blood Actress Again, Current Code, was won by Scrot Vermilion. Multi Bleed got second place.
Nice. But yeah, again, cool. Obviously we're big fans of UNIO.
Oh, Fame and Tectal are, I didn't know, okay. Both from Georgia. I know Fame, but training partners as
I
well.
mean, obviously, both of us were big UNIL fans. I mean, we're both obviously UNIST fans. We just don't have as much time to dedicate to the game. I've messed with it just a little bit. I'm super behind on it, and I really want to try to pick it up, but I don't know if I have I mean, the crazy thing about the game is just it's actually in a very well-balanced state as well. Even with characters like Phonon considered being like one of the strongest, she's not like winning everything and stuff like that. So I feel like the game is in a really, really, really good place.
Nice.
And again, you know, I was talking about this on Twitter. You know, I was saying that I felt like Tekken was kind of like the fighting game of the year because it just keeps growing. You know, it had like one of the only growths at Evo and stuff like that, and the game was doing really well and everything like that. And someone said that the biggest problem with the game is it didn't do a good job teaching casuals, you know, how to play the game and everything like that. There's no tutorials or anything like that. And I said, well, if that's the case, then UNIST had better be your game of the year, because I don't think there's a game that does that better than UNIST. Although I will say Soul Calibur is pretty good if it just had more visuals. But Soul Calibur is literally just like a fact. I'm just like reading an FAQ.
You mean the move list thing?
Well, the combat lessons.
Oh,
you know, because you can go. The combat lessons are actually really useful. Yeah, because I've been going through every character and trying to learn every character, including like which of their 3 reversal edge options is the most optimal. Because some of them you can't. Like for example, Killick, if he hits you with kick, the only combo we can get after there is AA.
Right.
Like that's the most he can get. Right. So for the most part, you're going to let kick slide, right? So I'm just trying to figure that out so I know how to weight it a little bit better every time I fight against somebody, right? But they'll tell you all these kind of things. They're like, this one's good because if they guard, you're plus on block. And like I didn't even know that Killick, you know, when he activates a super, he gets the free grab super, right? There's a move that if he makes you block it, it's a free grab. And they tell you that in the advanced section. Yeah, so there's a move.
So it's an unblockable, really, not...
Well, it's completely unblockable, but it's crouchable, right? But there's one move that forces you into a stand block stun that's so long that he can actually just snatch you out of it. And so,
I just mean like it's not a grab; it's an unblockable.
Yeah, it's an unblockable. Yeah, it's an unblockable. Literally an unblockable. Cool. So like they just had a lot of really good information in there, and I was just like, this is actually pretty interesting. I'm like I said, I'm sad that there's no visuals to go along with it. It's just text, but it's still real. It's better than what like Tekken has, for example, which is literally nothing. So yeah, exactly. So definitely helps a lot. Definitely helps a lot.
Whew, Virtua Fighter had a good one. There's no doubt about it.
Virtua 4 had one of the best tutorials, but it's also one of those problems of tutorials that I felt like was too much information, was like an inundation of information. But that's all of them. UNIST is the same way. So
that's fine.
Guilty Gear is the same way.
Now there was also CPT NA Online #2. That was won by Punk. Reciprocity Punk.
And I think that's where he
Knuckle Do, then Idol.
I'm pretty sure that's where he also played against Nephew with the Colleen Mirror as well.
Did he do that like 4 times in the past week? Because that happened in the Open tournament, or maybe it was in the Bull Conquest, and then it happened in the NARF, and then it also happened here.
Yeah. That's where a lot of people were like, he's not trolling Nephew. He did that to him in the online tournament. So I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Wow.
Because a lot of people in the chat thought he was just being punk and trolling with it, you know. So.
Did you watch any of the Smash Summit?
I did not watch any of the Smash Summit.
I watched some of it. I watched the end of it. There's always a lot of fun stuff in those. I mean, they're just like fun to watch. They do, their like style of commentary is just like hanging out on the couch. And we have a drink and shoes off, just hanging out. Sure. It's a lot of fun. Hungrybox won. He won over Leffen in the grand finals.
Sure, beat everybody in that. I bet all the Smash fans were absolutely thrilled with that result, especially by the number of buttons that Hungrybox was pressing during the.
He was mashing. Mango got 3rd with Falco and Fox.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's really fun for me to watch that game. I just really enjoy watching.
Dude, Melee is a blast to watch. Man. Melee is a blast to watch.
I don't know much about it, but it's at a high level anyway. But it seems super fun.
It's just, it is frenetic, right? And unfortunately does kind of build that reputation that the game is supposed to be played a certain way. Because there was a tweet that I saw someone talking about Hungrybox beating Leffen was just like, it's like desecration to the game. The game is meant to be played this way, and the game you're supposed to play this way, and I was just sitting there reading that, and like a lot of people responded to that like, okay, whatever, buddy. Like, you're just supposed to do whatever you can to win, basically. So
that game is like so open to interpretation anyway. How could you possibly say that there's a one way to play that game? It comes baked in with a billion options.
I mean, especially Smash. You can't tell me that Melee competitively is supposed to be played a certain way when Melee itself was supposed to be played in a completely different way. The game was literally designed to be a fun party game, and it became a good competitive game.
For sure.
But it wasn't designed that way, so there's no right way to play the game, dude.
It's definitely a dumb conversation.
Anyways, yeah.
That's cool that HBox won 7-0. High five. Also, I didn't realize that Mengo went all of 2018 without winning a big tournament.
Oh, yeah, no. He hadn't been winning much at all. But I don't know if he's actually been practicing that much. Like, I heard he's been mostly, like, just doing the Scar thing, right? Just showing up and being like, hey.
What, getting wasted? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, wait, did you say get wasted? Or, what, is that what Scar does?
I'm just messing around.
No, he definitely still tries? Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure, so, but, so he's been on the stream grind. Okay. Yeah, that's right. He went for full-time Falco, so there you go. And been working on trying to be a streamer, so, yeah.
All right. Well, that's all that happened this past weekend that I have. There was also Red Bull Kumite that we didn't talk about last time.
Oh, God, that's cool. Right, yeah.
I don't know how much you want to get into that at this point because we've been talking for an hour about events.
I mean, we should talk about Red Bull Kumite because that was sick. That was a very sickly done event. So.
Look, in terms of production, it's always awesome.
Yeah.
It's a blast to be there. It's not just like for people at home who it looks cool for them. To be there is super fun. It's this room that just barely fits enough people. It gets hot, it gets steamy because people are just yelling and cheering, and there's so many of us in there.
It gets pretty fragrant too.
It definitely gets fragrant. It's a really fun time to be there. You got what's his name, Ryux, I think, on the mic. You got Ken Bogart, obviously. It's super fun,
dude. That clip when Luffy lost on that comeback by Fujimura, and you just see the audience is just like
it pans immediately to his wife.
Oh, was that who that was?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And his wife was just like, no,
so
God.
One was his wife, and then there was another view where some guys were just like, oh, dude, that was like the best part. Because like I love seeing that kind, because that's what you see in like football games, college football games,
right.
Or they pan to the audience, you see the guy just going, no, like that to me was like what made that clip so good.
Like I felt bad for those people because I wanted Luffy to win too because I was just like, it'd be sick if a French player took this event in France,
right?
But it was excellent, like TV and camera work, for sure. Excellent stuff.
But again, for me, what I liked about it, because I'm just a big fan of that human connection, and so to see the reaction from all the French fans who are obviously cheering for Luffy, just devastated was, I don't know, like I'm not reveling in their devastation. Yeah. I love that they have that much of a emotional investment in it, and that was super cool. So
definitely, man. So Fujimura ended up taking it. He won over Problem X. Problem X continuing to be super awesome. Daigo got third.
And he beat Tokido again,
Luffy.
By the way. He beat Tokido. Problem X beat Tokido earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, so. Tokido got 7th. The worst placing he's had in 50 years. I don't know the stat, but I feel like it's been a while since I've seen him in 7th place.
Now, someone actually had an interesting theory. Maybe we could save this for 5 matchup, actually. But they were like, one of the reasons why this tournament was so hyped is because it was 2 out of 3. And because it felt like there was more on the line. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you lose one game, you're already right there at the edge, So someone's like, I understand 3 out of 5 is to make it so we know who's the best. But, like, the fact that it was 2 out of 3 just adds so much more disparity and just kind of, like, despair and kind of panicking to it. So.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's stressful to play.
I did not get actually a chance to see that. The Big Bird and gunfight, was it? There was one match that everybody said was, like, the most amazing match.
They're probably talking about the Problem X versus Daigo.
Well, that one was one of them, but there was
strong.
Another one. Where is it? Someone was talking about Gunfight versus Big Bird. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun too.
Gunfight Big Bird. They
said
was like.
I mean, it's a couple characters who you don't see very often, so it was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
But for my money, Daigo versus Problem X was immaculate. It was so well played on both sides.
Dude, that Daigo comeback was the most non-Street Fighter V comeback out of all.
I feel like that is Street Fighter V. I really feel like the game gets too bad of a rap. It has the wild side, for sure.
Well, I don't mean wild. I didn't mean like wild. I mean that it wasn't about knocking you down, getting one hit into half stun, into another hit, half stun, and then that's how most comebacks in Street Fighter V happen.
I think you're right, but I'm just saying that Guile's been in the game for like 3 years now. Minot's been there for like a year and a half.
But neither of those characters are really known for their crazy comebacks unless Minot activates V-Trigger 1.
Sure, I'm just saying like that is Street Fighter V. That's in the game.
Okay.
I just feel like the game gets a bad rap on that.
For sure.
Anyway, it was a lot of fun to watch. Very cool. Nice job on the commentary out there. I thought it was really fun. I always try to listen a little bit in French because I used to speak that language, and it's fun to like be like, I recognize every fifth word. That's always fun for me. But then in terms of the English commentary, I thought they did really well too.
Okay, cool. It was so funny because when I shared that clip of the Fujimura comeback versus Luffy.
Yeah.
I was doing it mostly through mutedness because I was just doing it on my phone and I wasn't watching it. And then finally I got to a place where I actually listened to it. And I totally didn't even realize the clip starts with Damascus like giving me a shout out because apparently when the Super connected, both him and F word at the same time were like, is this gonna kill? And it didn't. And they're like, shout out to James Chen. And I was like, oh, sick, nice. So thank you, Damascus. Thank you. Okay. Anyways, sick production, great stuff. Always a blast. The tournament is always fun. So 2 weekends in a row, Red Bull, I felt like really kind of killed it. So yeah.
They even had an event in the UK called the Pit.
That's right.
Which is a team tournament.
I didn't get to see that.
I watched for just a little bit. Okay. It seemed like a very cool looking venue there. So they're doing good work.
Nice. Okay.
All right. That's all that I have for events. We're done.
All right. So, you want to take a break then?
I definitely want to take a break.
Okay. So, take a break and we'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back. Ooh. So, just another thing I wanted to mention to the people at home. This has been the week of catch-up on the YouTube channel. So we are now only one episode behind. We were literally 12 episodes behind, and I busted out all 12 episodes. Well, we were 13 episodes behind. I busted out all 12 of them in this past week.
Nice.
It was the last 6 were supposed to come out much earlier, but my renders were all dying, and I couldn't figure out why they were dying. And then I looked, and it was because I ran out of disk space. And so I had to clear up some disk space, and then I ran in and I tried to upload to YouTube. YouTube was giving me problems, and oh god, it's such a pain. But I mean, I hope people are okay with it because, like I said, I'm not doing any cute thumbnails anymore. I'm not doing anything crazy. The ads aren't going to be in the right spots for breaks, so hopefully somebody in the comments. So if anybody who watches this video on YouTube likes to watch our video on YouTube and would like to be the official volunteer timestamp comment guy, would be great. But I would rather get the content out like the next day with no thumbnail and ads placed at random intervals, which is just every half hour now. I just dump them in there, than waiting like 7 days for the episode to come out. So I hope everybody's okay with that. So. Oh, the DOA stuff. Yeah. We can talk about that a little bit. Sure. Yeah.
I don't think I know
DOA revealed a couple of new characters, and there's going to be an exhibition match at Evo Japan because that is the day that it's coming out.
Oh.
It's going to be on the exact same day over there.
Well.
Okay. So how was Chicago overall?
Oh, it was great. It's great. I like the city a lot. It was warm.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was maybe like 35, 40.
Was it
steamy, practically. Barely see your breath.
Was it still windy though?
It's not that windy.
Okay.
The city's called the Windy City because of, I think, the politicians, if I recall correctly, not because of the actual...
I thought it was because it was windy.
So. It can be windy.
I mean, people...
My grandpa, who grew up there, told me a story that one time when he was young, He got caught in this area between two buildings, which I guess you would call an alley if you're thinking about the word, and he got picked up by the wind. It was just like a wind tunnel, basically. But I mean, it's not a common phenomenon, obviously. So yeah, it's like not windy, but I don't think that's why they called it that.
Right. Okay.
I got to hang out with my great aunt, who's so cool, man.
Oh, dude, I saw the
She's
pictures,
so cool.
dude. It was actually pretty awesome.
I found out that that her dad, my great grandpa, in World War I, so he had just immigrated to the U.S. He and his brothers.
Okay.
And he refused to fight in the war, and he got jailed for it. He was a conscientious objector.
Oh,
and I was like, wow,
dang.
that's fascinating. Why was that? And it turned out that he was a philosophical, committed vegetarian and hated all forms of violence and refused to take part in anything. I was like, I had no idea about this family history. It was very interesting.
I feel like it's kind of like,
we've always been weirdos.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I was like, wow, that's all right.
I mean, although you're not actually vegetarian,
I'm not, but
you're pretty close.
That's
you're
true.
Pretty close,
yeah,
so.
I thought that was very interesting. And it turned out that one of his brothers was like a big communist. And even after Stalin took over, he was always like, "It's not that bad. Don't believe what the Western media is telling you." It's like, oh man, I got quite the history of the family.
Obviously,
there.
I grew up in the '80s, right? And one of the first toys that I ever got into was He-Man, right?
Okay.
So I was a big He-Man fan. And then when She-Ra, the spin-off came out, of course I watched the She-Ra cartoon, right? So they made the new She-Ra. It just came out on Netflix, and I'm just like really curious to see how the show's going. So I watched the first episode of it, and spoiler alert, first episode. But Adora, who's the main character, actually starts on the side of the bad guys. Like she's working for them, but she doesn't realize they're bad. And so when she runs into some of the good guys, she's like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "They're the evil horde," and and she's like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, so she had no idea and stuff like that. So
that's how it is,
It's kind of how it
come
is,
up in a certain system,
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, my great uncle, who was a fervent communist, was, I don't know, he had a very weird story. Even on top of that, uncertain about mental state kind of stories. So.
Oh man!
But they came from Poland, which was under the control of the Russian Empire, and they hated everything to do with that whole world. They were so happy to get out. Anyway, you want to talk about the next thing? You want to get back to the thing here?
Hey, shoutouts to Zoidberg for another 1,000 bits.
Dang!
Woo! This guy is very generous. Thank you, Zoidberg. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Let's do this.
Alrighty, so big news with respect to Infiltration. Of course, a couple of months ago, there were allegations on the internet that he had been engaged in very serious domestic violence and abuse, both physical and emotional, and those were unsubstantiated as far as we knew. I mean, there were allegations of it.
The source was literally an anonymous poster on Reddit.
Right. But I guess it seemed like there was enough of a grain of truth in there that Panda Global looked into it. They basically benched Infiltration while they were doing the investigation. It took a couple of months. I'm glad that they did it. I'm glad that they did it like that, rather than kind of jumping to any conclusions.
Yeah,
I think that they handled it super, super well. They handled it very professionally. You got to take as much time as you need for that kind of thing. And they did that. So shout-outs to them for that, for sure. When it came to them releasing that information, I thought that they released it in a very professional manner, too. Well, in some ways, anyway.
Well, apparently, Capcom didn't help them. Panda Global helped Capcom.
Correct.
And so Panda Global was doing the main investigation. They were helping Capcom to come up with, they were working together to try to do that kind of stuff. So basically the most important finding was that at least one of the things that was alleged was grounded in reality, which was that he did commit domestic violence and was fined as a result. He paid that fine, and that was, I think, sort of the heart of what was alleged. Some of the allegations were a little bit wilder, but that was certainly the heart of it. Then the
text that was translated, the recording that was translated, that had some terrible stuff in it, horrifying stuff, wasn't like explicitly corroborated, but they did say that there was a 15-minute conversation that was consistent with that stuff. So, you know, is that the same thing or not? It's hard to tell, but it makes me think maybe. It's just hard to say. But some of the other stuff was not found to be accurate, like that he had to pay some crazy amount, $20,000 or something, and that he had not done that. So that was found not to be true. They put out all of their findings. You can find that stuff. I'm sure that's in many locations now. But they released all of it. They wrote up a whole spiel. Their lead dude in charge had a video about it, Alan Bunny.
Yeah, they even had like a whole. They released the official I'm not sure exactly. Like it was on like the Scrib website or something like that. But they had like very official writing of like all the stuff that they found and tried to tell the story from kind of start to finish as detailedly as possible.
For sure, so. I could have done some without some of the editorializing in it. Some of it I felt was not legally necessary. Or maybe not even necessary from a sort of explanatory point of view. Some of the things like that, she wanted to go back to him afterward, which is common for domestic abuse. Even if it's something that is real gnarly, that's pretty common. So I feel like that it's not necessary. That kind of makes people think, oh, it wasn't a big deal. You know? Could have done without that. But in general, I thought that they did a good job in showing it. So just from a kind of lawyerly angle on this, the inclusion of that kind of thing and this long delay make me suspect that this was probably something that, and also the result, which we haven't said, which is that Infiltration has been dropped from Panda Global and has also withdrawn from the Capcom Pro Tour for both 2018 and 2019.
Well, Capcom also kind of officially said you can't play in it in 2018 and 2019. So it's kind of a withdrawal and a ban at the same time.
Well,
right?
We'll get to that in just a sec. But I suspect that he was probably involved in at least some degree, or this lawyer was, with the writing of this. So the inclusion of some of those things that maybe were not strictly necessary, I can imagine a situation where his lawyer would want that stuff to be in there. So there's kind of a negotiation about it. The fact that this took so long and how it turned out kind of makes me suspect that. I don't have any evidence of that, but that's just from knowing how things tend to work in the law. I wouldn't be surprised if that were true.
Right.
So, so Panda Global, as we said before, I'm sure had a clause in their contract that said that if the player does something terrible, Panda Global can drop.
Yeah, of course.
That's very standard in esports contracts and entertainment and talent contracts in general. So that's, I'm sure, how they got around whatever deal they had. And then Capcom. So Capcom, I wish, as you said, he withdrew, but it's kind of like he had to, kind of. But I really wish that they had just outright banned him, rather than making it seem as if it's at all voluntary.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was kind of hoping for, was that Capcom would be able to jump on top of that, as opposed to having withdraw. Oh, and you're banned, but you're withdrawing anyway, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
I really wish that had just been very explicit. This is something we're not going to tolerate. You're out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, I feel like, a missed opportunity, and especially there's a little bit of precedent for them with respect to the Noel Brown incidents where they did that kind of stuff. So, it's not ideal for me, but the main thrust of it is, I think, the appropriate response, which is that he's not going to be playing for the next year and a half-ish.
Right. I mean, do you feel like that's a long enough ban? Do you think it should have been
I don't
more?
know. No, maybe not. I mean, it's important to me to have somebody, if there's a punishment, they get a chance to redeem themselves. It's like, I don't believe in punishment just for punishment's sake.
Right.
It's more about hoping to reform somebody instead. So if he can prove that that's not an ongoing issue, then I don't want to ban him forever. I don't know that I have like a set amount of years or anything that I feel like would have been appropriate, but certainly I wouldn't have wanted it to be forever.
I mean, the hardest part for me personally is I left reading all the documentation and everything like that, still kind of confused by the whole entire thing.
Okay.
Even though it was very, they tried to be very detailed and stuff like that, but I think I might have been affected, now that you mention it, by a little bit of the slight editorial stuff in there. Because they mentioned the domestic violence fine, for example, was the minimal amount. Of
Right.
Trying to imply.
Like, is that right.
Yeah, like, hey,
it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. Right,
sure.
kind of thing like that. But, they said that the doctor said that she had a bruised wrist or something like that, and, again, I felt like there were still a lot of details that kind of weren't necessarily there. And when you mention it, like I said now, is when you read that documentation, it really does feel like it's written largely from Infiltration's viewpoint.
I'm not sure about largely, but I feel like he did. It seems to me like he had a hand in it.
Yeah. Or there was definitely, I don't know. It felt kind of weird when I was reading it. So I'm a little still confused by it. I'm still not sure how to process it, to be honest with you. Again, obviously there was some abuse, and so definitely needs to be banned. And like you said, I really wish Capcom kind of jumped ahead of it, almost as if like I almost would have wanted maybe 2.5 years just so it extends across the voluntary withdrawal period. You know what I mean? Because whether they ban him or not makes no difference right now at this point, because he's already voluntarily withdrawn for that year.
Well, it's the same effect in terms of his playing, but maybe not the same impact as if he had been banned. I feel like that would have sent a different message.
Right, exactly. So that's why I was thinking maybe if they did 2.5 years, then it's longer than he would have liked to have voluntarily. So more of a statement kind of thing. I don't know, but I mean, even if he tries to come back after the time, it's just be weird. Like I'm not sure how it's going to be viewed upon, and it's not like, because there is that problem where everybody's always willing to forgive this thing and say, hey, welcome back, now we can get back to normal kind of things, but I don't know if that's what we want, right? Like, we're not, again, a lot of people, view these kind of things as like, oh, you're just trying to get them back as quickly as possible, because that's what happened on my Twitter when I was talking about it early. I made a tweet that sounded like I was trying to figure out how to get them back as quick as possible, when I was trying to be the exact opposite of that, right? And so, it's not that kind of situation that we're talking about, oh yeah, this much time he can come back. Like, I think, I don't know, I would still like to have some sort of, like, proof in a weird way, like official psychological evaluation or something, but I don't know if that's even possible at this point in time. So
yeah, I wouldn't look for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do know people who like went away from the scene for a while because they got put in jail, right? I mean,
I know one player right now who is currently in jail.
Do I know him?
Yeah, you know him.
Oh, okay. I'm just not thinking about it then, but it's definitely happened in the past as well.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's like always weird after that, because like I know that you did. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. But in any case, but I've definitely that's not like a new phenomenon, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So it's not that it's common by any stretch either, but it's not new, and it's weird. Whether you think that it's good that they've done their time, now they're out again, they have another chance. I'm down with that stuff. That's not to say that it's not weird. It's weird. So don't expect it to go back to normal. I'm also not terribly interested in this property dispute aspect. Right in the release, they talked about the fact that
breaking in,
breaking
the lock, and like
she didn't want to let him back in,
payment and all this stuff like that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not very interested in this. It's not important to me.
Right. See, that's what I mean. Like when I was reading that, I felt like it was kind of obfuscating the main issue, kind of.
That's what I think as well, and that's part of why I suspect that this is like a jointly written thing.
That's why, like I said, when I was reading it, I was very conflicted as I was reading it, because I was getting kind of confused by the whole entire thing. So.
Yeah. Like I'm not sure why that's directly like part of this. Maybe it goes to why they had an issue in the first place. I don't know, but whatever the underlying issue is, or whatever the other issues are, he injured her and caused bruises to her, and that is good enough for me in terms of what I need to know about the situation. Right. I don't need to know the rest of whatever's going on in their life. It's not like I'm not looking for, nor do I think I would accept any justification for this kind of stuff.
I think that's where, like, so they talked a lot about the property stuff, but when it came to the actual injury she had, that part was vague.
It was vague.
And I think that's kind of where the unsettling part for me was. Like, it felt like the crux of the whole thing was more vague than a lot of the side things that were being mentioned. And so,
yeah.
You know, because like I said, when I was reading it, there was something that didn't feel right to me. Not that I'm saying that there was anything wrong with the documentation, but I felt like there was still a lot more information out there that maybe we don't know, quite yet or something. So I don't know.
Yeah, I wish that there had been a little less editorializing. So, yeah, I don't know really what else to say. It's upsetting, naturally, to have confirmation of it. We were all hoping that it was not true.
Look, I mean, before you find out, look, anybody can turn out to be that kind of a person, domestic violence abuser or whatever like that, right? So I can confidently say, without like trying to be apologetic for Infiltration, but before we found out about this stuff, a lot of us liked Infiltration. He was a funny guy, he had, he's a very talented player and stuff like that. And obviously, it sucks to have this kind of thing happen, but at the same time, that it did happen, we have to make sure we react to it properly. And so I do think the banning is the correct thing to do.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yes.
A little chat here.
How far?
A little bit more. Yeah, there you go. That's good.
Reading one of the essays in there.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the meaning of it, and I'm afraid I do not. Crownless King. So.
Okay.
But. Again, it doesn't help, I feel, to know why this stuff happened or what the other issues were that are going on. I'm sorry that they've had issues, of course, but that doesn't go to like why you commit assault and battery, basically.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's well, obviously it's part of the reason why, but there's something else there because plenty of people have had issues and not everybody abuses their spouse.
Right. I mean, if you're going to say like, oh, well, look at all these issues, that's why he hurt her.
Yeah, there's a big missing link.
Right, and then not only that, but then that means you're just basically saying in the future, anybody who runs into those kind of issues has every right to bruise their spouse. I
feel like that is implied.
Right, exactly, and that's the problem right there, which is why a lot of those outside things shouldn't, like, you just shouldn't abuse somebody. And again, I'm saying spouse and not mentioning gender because this goes either direction. There's been plenty of like those videos out there where they like show like women like publicly like berating their boyfriend and like beating on them and nobody does anything. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah. I mean, I don't know about just as, but it's certainly also that is to say not just as common, but it can be bad, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but to follow up on that whole thing, though, is that Infiltration did say that he wanted to release his own statement.
Right.
And his statement said that he is innocent of everything, and that when the time is right, he will explain everything, is what he said. Right. So, I'm curious how that's going to go. Again, that's still just one side of the story, though, so it's always a little bit kind of tough in those situations. So.
I'm not sure that the stuff that was on Reddit, like some of it's worse than ended up being the reality, right? He was asked to pay whatever large amount of money and he didn't. Like that allegation turned out not to have been true. If the concern is that his public reputation was harmed more by that than by what turned out to be the reality, I just am not sure that I agree with that. Like those allegations are worse in some sense. That's true, but there's not like a big variance for me from finding out that he did commit domestic violence and some of the other things that were not true. Like there's not like a big doesn't like make me think much worse of him. I already think quite badly of him. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, something like saying that his image was tarnished could only have been true if it's turned out that none of this was accurate, right? Then sure, he's been harmed, but that's not true. For me, the worst individual part of it turned out to have been right, that he did hurt her.
And also, they said that the audio transcript was accurate, right?
Yeah, like reordered or something like that. I forgot what the phrasing was.
Okay.
But yeah, those two things being true or sort of mostly accurate compared to what we thought it was, that's enough. Like
Right.
it's not getting much worse than that. There it is.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but in a weird way, I don't think this thing is done yet. Like, we still got a lot more to find out and stuff. So
Probably true.
So this
Probably
is
true.
definitely going to keep going. So, it's unfortunate, something that we do have to talk about because it is out there and everything. But I'd rather focus more on the players who are playing and
Sure,
just,
he's not going to be around.
Yeah, and the talent that's out there and the stories like CJ Truth and Punk and Tokido and all those guys. And
I'm definitely with you.
So, yeah.
That said, we have to be open and discuss negative things like this so that we can address them.
Of course, for sure.
Yeah, no, I know you're not saying we shouldn't.
Oh yeah,
do
yeah.
that,
We
course.
shouldn't. I'm not saying that. We
No,
should
I'm
ignore
not
it
implying
and
that you
stuff
are.
like that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
By the way, I'm also not concerned that now lots of players are going to start getting allegations of wild stuff. That's something that seems like it's always... that idea always pops up in things like this.
Right.
It popped up too for the big Supreme Court issues that came up recently, where the allegations were that the now Supreme Court justice had raped a woman when he was young. Some people came out saying that they thought that this was something that was made up or that it was to benefit the person who made the allegations. That stuff is almost never real. Almost never. In the U.S., the statistics are something like 2% of allegations turn out to have been falsified.
Right.
Almost just not even worth thinking about in terms of that. So I really want that to not be a thing. It seems like it consistently is a thing, and unfortunately some people are applying that to this case as well.
But I mean, I think one of the most important things to take out of this whole thing was that I felt like Panda Global and Capcom did a really, really good job taking their time and finding out the facts and everything, and sure, the stream chat's going to jump to conclusions one way or the other. You know what I mean? That's just the way the internet works in general. But at least the main parties, the ones that are going to determine the fate of Infiltration and and set the tone for the FGC, took their time and did it in a proper way, so that if there are any future allegations and they're false allegations, then we can at least already expect groups to do this in a proper fashion as well. So I think that's one of the best things to take.
All right. So I hear you.
Okay.
We move on.
Let's move on. Okay. Pam, 5-5 matchup. What do we got?
What do we got?
What do we got for 5-5 matchup?
First off, at the end of Red Bull Conquest, traditionally, Red Bull gives us a little bit of a teaser in terms of which characters are coming up next for Street Fighter V. In the past, they unfurled a big banner that was Akuma.
Right, had the chin symbols on
correct.
them. Yeah.
There was also the Sakura petals that they had that turned out to, of course, be Sakura. This time,
nothing happened.
This is the question, though. Right. Did nothing happen?
Or did it?
So there was...
We need the, what is it, the prairie dog?
Yeah. They did have confetti rain down, and that confetti was blue and yellow and a little bit of red.
Just a few red,
And a few red. What could that be? What do you think that is? 5-5 matchup, go!
Look, I mean, if it was gonna... See, a lot of people are pointing out Yun, because Yun is blue and yellow with a little bit of red, but he's also mostly white. Like the suit of his is white, so I don't know, and I really hope not. God, I don't want Yun in this game. I'm so sick of that character. I hate that character so much, but you know, I don't really hate. I hate him from a gameplay standpoint. I don't hate him from like a character.
I thought that there was white confetti as well.
Was there white confetti?
That's what I had thought. I wasn't there, but that's what I thought. So it could be him.
Yeah.
You don't want that?
I saw that Ono tweeted afterwards a picture with the Blanca and was like, ha 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 ha. So someone's like, it's Honda! Ha 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 ha! Right? So, you know.
Oh boy, that's reaching right there.
Yeah, I know. But especially with 100 hand slots reaching, right? So, I mean, I would look, Sodom has some red and blue and yellow on him. But
you know what else has blue and yellow?
Who's that?
The Capcom logo.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the main thing, right?
Was it just Capcom confetti?
That's all I'm assuming it is. That's all I assume. But I think what threw everybody off was the little bits of red that were in there. Now, what a lot of people are saying about the little bits of red, you know what? Here's my conspiracy theory, okay? Here's my conspiracy theory on what the little bits of red were. They were leftover confetti from the last time that stadium used the confetti that were probably still in the confetti bins.
I think it's just big confetti bins. Is that how confetti works?
He's like,
I don't know.
Maybe they just didn't clean it out from the last time it was used, and there's just little red things in there. Who knows? Like, I mean, look, there was nothing there. There was nothing.
You don't believe it, huh?
I don't believe it. There was nothing there. No one's going to come out and say there was nothing there because I think it's more fun and beneficial to Capcom to have everybody think about this.
Well, we're chatting about it right now.
Exactly.
You don't think, was the red for Red Bull and the blue and yellow for Capcom? That seems like an easy explanation. And therefore, it can't be right. It's Yun.
It's
easy explanation. No way. It's never easy. You got to look for the big conspiracies and things. That's what I always say.
Right? The red is suspicious.
I wouldn't be that upset to see Yun.
Oh, God. You know, I guess
wouldn't be stoked. There's other ones I would want more, but
I think the only time that Yun really kind of sucked was CVS2. But
that's definitely the only time.
Yeah, but outside of that, maybe it's just too much Third Strike and just, dealing with him since the arcade edition. And I'm just, sick of seeing that character. Because the thing is, I feel like the only way to make Yun fair in Street Fighter V is you'd have to either change him drastically or nerf a bunch of stuff.
I think so, too, yeah.
Right? He'd
have to be quite different.
Either that or he's Ono's favorite character or something, and, he's just going to end up super buff, so...
No, but I think you're right. If he's going to be in there...
Oh, that's Alpha 3 Zero Upper had Yun, or Alpha 3, whatever that
was he bad in that one?
PSP version. I have no idea. I've never played it, so I've never played that one. So,
yeah, he would have to be quite different. His dive kick cannot work the same way. Can he have all of those good plus on block normals and a command grab in this context?
Right. And the crazy thing about it is his dive kick can't even work the way it worked in Third Strike or in Street Fighter 4 because they worked differently in those games. But either one of them would be broken.
Oh yeah, it'd be super
Either
good.
one of them
super
would be broken.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, or else maybe he would just have to have really bad normals and no damage.
Are we gonna have
I don't know.
Ganage V trigger? I mean,
look, there are rumors that there's gonna be custom combos.
Ah, God.
He might fit in with that.
I really hope not, because custom combos are always going to be the most broken thing in the game.
They've never done it well. Capcom's never done it well.
It's almost impossible to do right. You know what I mean? Even in EX2, when they tried to throw in their own custom combos, the Excel combos, they ended up I really liked their scaling system, but it just still ended up being too powerful. Their scaling system was literally every move that the character has did max damage the first time, and if you use that move again, it would be severely nerfed in damage. So you tried to use every single button, like crouching medium kick to standing medium kick, and a fierce uppercut, and to juggle with a low sweep into stand around house because you haven't used those. There's some cool creative ideas, but then you always get it so it's pow, 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 done, jab him out of the air, jump, activate another one, pow, 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 and you just keep doing it, and then link into another one. There's always a way to make custom combos broken. I don't know if they've ever really can do custom combos so that they're not broken. Because even CVS2, they try to do it so that the scaling dropped everything to 100 damage at the end, so they really couldn't do much damage. And then they just forgot about quantity in Bison and Sakura, which is 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I don't care how much. Like literally, Ratio 1 Bison's custom combo did almost as much damage as a Ratio 2 Bison. Because it just didn't matter, because at the end they were both doing 100 damage the whole entire time with every hit, right? So honestly, the different ratios should have had the different the scaling caps.
That would have made sense, I guess. Yeah, but
anyways,
oh wells.
Whatever.
Well, I like the idea of going with Yun. I'm not saying that Yun's who I want in the game. I'm just saying, like,
if it is a thing,
I'll buy it.
If that they're trying to hint at it. Because the thing about it is, Yun clothes are blue and yellow with a tiny bit of red.
Yeah.
So it's the closest thing that there is out there, but man, I don't
you know, I want Oro.
Oro, huh? Not even 12, huh? I thought you would have wanted 12.
Well, I guess I would want 12 more, but that seems impossible.
I mean, story-wise, I feel like...
Oro's in the story.
Oh, is he in the story?
Yeah, he shows up in the story.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They've already had him in the game.
If they put Oro in the game, there's only one thing that I really, really, really hope for, is that, you know how there's the post animations that they skip that you can skip or whatever like that? I just really hope Oro has the longest turnaround animation that you can skip. That is literally him tucking an arm in and pulling the other arm out.
Oh, that would be cool.
Like, if they actually just had that be his turnaround, like if you jump over him and he just kind of went, and then started doing this way, you jumped over him and he did that, but you can skip that whole thing.
Oh, that would be pretty nifty.
I think that would be the way that I'd want Oro to be.
I could see that being pretty cool. I also think it'd be pretty cool if he did, like, what if he landed from, like, chicken kicks and he just fell asleep? Like, you know his taunt in Third Strike? He just falls asleep.
Right.
I think that'd be pretty sick.
Why would he fall asleep after just for fun?
Because he's an old man. He's like 1,000 years old.
I guess.
He falls asleep. That's what his taunt is. I like it. I think that would be good.
Oh, man.
Big old boogie hanging there.
Oh, God.
He'd be very funny.
What a dumb character.
Well, he plays... he's got a different style than other characters in the game. So I like it for that.
Dude, did you just not miss what I just said, Gundam? I literally just started talking about him turning around and... Because both of his arms are there. When he activates some of the critical arts, he does
the
this.
EX Supers, yeah.
Like, he pulls both of his arms out. Like, he's literally tying one arm. He's not a one-armed man. Right. He just literally ties one arm behind his back. But I think that would be cool if they actually switch it. But, again, my wish list is entirely Honda and Sodom. Just because, for completionist sake.
Actually, I think Honda would be cool as long as he's like defensive fortress Honda.
Yeah, but you'd have to figure out a way to make it fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I wouldn't want him to be the same kind of offensive character that too many characters already are.
Yeah.
I want to have the uniqueness of him, which I think is the defensive side.
If you could figure out a way to make it work. Because, like I said, the defensive style has always had the problem, and we've talked about this before, but Blanca either sucks or he's the best character in the game, and then Honda is always... I'm way too good against some characters and terrible against others. If they can figure out a way to do it, which is what I would like to see, because they actually did a good job with Blanca.
Sure.
So
they did.
I thought, like, I was actually saying, Logan put out a tweet saying the characters he absolutely does not ever want to see anymore.
Yes.
Right? And one of them he listed was T-Hawk. Now, I would love to see modernized T-Hawk with the jean jacket and stuff like that, but no feathers in his hair, but just his long hair is just down, and he just dressed in a normal street shirt and stuff like that. Like, casual T-Hawk as a new art style for him. I actually think that would be sick. I actually think that would be really cool. The problem with it is, of course, he's just... he's
the 30th grappler.
We don't need another grappler in the game. But you know what they could do to make him really cool? What if he was the backwards grappler? What if he only had SPDs in the air and no SPDs on the ground? And some of his throws would launch you into the air so you could jump up and juggle with them and stuff like that. And so that way he's all about hawk dive and airborne. Like, he's the airborne guy.
Okay.
So he's like hawk diving and SPDing in the air. And so what
you're telling me is that you want 12.
No, 12 is not that character, dude. 12
I think
is
he
not
is.
12 is about running away.
No, he's not a runaway character.
Totally, he flies around. And
He's flying at you.
Yeah, but he's like totally uninteresting.
You just described 12 gameplay.
No, because he doesn't have enough. Because it's stupid. He's just a dumb character, and he flies back and forth. He doesn't have an SPD in the air. Aha!
Well, you're right about that one.
Hate 12.
Oh, what a cool, fun, interesting character. Anyway, enough of that, I guess.
Stupid. Yo, I am a hater. I think 12 is my... I mean, we've talked about this. He's my... Like, if you ask me who my least favorite Street Fighter character of all time is, it's definitely 12. So I hate that character so much.
Mine is Seth, and I hope that Seth remains dead forever.
Seth is actually a really good choice.
Oh, okay. Whew! Okay.
I was about to say, I didn't think about that, but you know
I thought
what?
that was about to come out as Seth is actually a really cool character.
No. Actually, like, now that you mention that, I may hate him more than I hate 12.
Yes.
Because Seth is a really stupid character
And he
design.
sucks.
He's a stupid character.
Hate him. He's like Fox.
Hey, someone has a good point. Wolverine is blue and yellow, and if he kills people, he has blood on his claws.
I guess. I mean, you're just talking about old school X-Men outfits in general.
Yeah, but that could be a reveal about Marvel versus Capcom.
Whoa.
So that's what
it's
it was.
Cyclops with his little red lasers and his yellow and
Dude,
blue suit.
right?
Oh my god!
We figured it out.
Nailed it.
It's a MVC4 team.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. There we go.
Dang. They all have a little bit of red.
Oh man. I mean, I remember before
with the hair.
before we were professional commentators and we were just, guys on the mic just kind of yelling and talking about. I still remember at a West Coast Warzone, I was commentating one of Online Tony's matches, and he started doing stuff with Seth, and I was like, I hate this stupid motherfucking character.
Yeah. Man, I hate that character.
Because that was vanilla, where he had neutral jump fierce.
Oh, I remember Online Tony in
Yeah,
Vanilla when he triple perfected me in SF4 Vanilla with my Zangief. And the one round that I got a hit, I think I only got like a stand strong against his jump fierce. I think that was one hit.
Yeah.
I think other than that, I got quadruple perfected. Man.
What a dumb character.
What a dumb character.
Oh, Online Tony's still around, dude. He's still around. We saw him at SCR.
He doesn't really play that much anymore, but he's
Yeah.
definitely, he's a good dude. Very good dude.
He's actually one of those guys who did a really great job losing weight, too. That guy
Yeah,
was
for sure.
felt right now,
he's
so.
in a good place.
Yeah.
So, you know what else is a rumor?
What's that?
That Mortal Kombat 11 is being developed. And it's a rumor because one of the voice actors for the Spanish version of the game, this is the allegation, said that he or somebody is going to be doing one of the characters, Scorpion or something.
Wait.
Do you think
they could be making an MK11?
Do you think
we
that
didn't just
could
talk
be
about
true?
on this show earlier saying that they should turn that into a free-to-play game or something like that? Like I didn't talk about it as if it was like a given that it's happening.
Can you believe it? What if the studio that's only ever made 2 fighting games, 2 video games since it was spun off, what if they make the series that they're most known for?
Let me ask you.
What
if
that?
they said, we're having a new game announcement, and they're like, Injustice 3?
First of all, I would crack up. I would think it's great. 90% of the NRS scene would just be like, all right, firing up Soul Calibur 6 right now.
Damn. Oh, man. MK Mobile. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. What if there was that? It's like the Diablo.
You've seen the Injustice 1 arcade game, right?
Yes, I have.
Oh, God, that thing is a travesty.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look.
Obviously, they're making a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's...
Duh.
It'd be like Ed Boon is like, I don't want to make money.
Right, yeah.
Right? I mean...
By the way, they already do have an MK and Injustice mobile games.
Right.
I played a lot of the Injustice 2 mobile game.
It helped unlock things on
did.
Injustice, right? So
They actually had a nice little coordination going on with the game from the
yeah,
console
I
to
mean,
the phone.
there's no shock that MK11 is going to come out. I mean, I don't... I'm actually just surprised that it wasn't announced during the IPS. What are they saving it for? Are they going to save it for next E3? Sony's not even going to be at this E3. You know what I mean?
All the way in June.
Yeah, all the way in June. So, like, what event are they going to announce it? They're not going to do it at Evo Japan, okay? Because, like, Japan doesn't care about Mortal Kombat. Yeah. What are they waiting for?
Yeah, a lot of people have thought that it's the Game Awards, which are coming up early next month, early December.
Oh, right, because there's a lot of reveals at the Game Awards. That's right.
Typically. I mean, that's certainly plausible, and everybody thinks they're making the game, so, like, we're all expecting it at some point. I would expect it. I wouldn't expect it, like, as late as June. I feel like if they're going to do it, it'd be before that.
When are the Game Awards?
Either early December 4th or something like that.
Okay.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, then I wouldn't be surprised. That's actually a good place, because I couldn't think of another place that they could announce it. And I'm just surprised they didn't even drop like a hint.
Oh, at the IPS finals?
IPS. Like, they could
they were on Disney, you know, could they even show Mortal Kombat?
True. Because I think
gross torture porn
all
game.
You need to have to do is just have a screenshot of like a field with the wind, and then a boot goes, and you see the end of Scorpion's spear go, and then that's it. Like, you can just have it be done.
Sub-Zero's head falls on the floor.
Yeah, I know.
His disembodied head. Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not looking forward to MK11's like gore, because the graphics are gonna be so good, and I just don't. I'm already a little squeamish.
I mean, look,
I just not the side of the game that I like. That's for sure.
I still remember for Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2, when I first started seeing the fatalities, I just thought they were funny and whatever.
Yeah.
Except Kung Lao's fatality in MK2, where the guy split in half. That was the first time that actually made me feel kind of queasy.
Yeah, like that.
I was like, whoa,
a little much.
But dude, like for MKX, like some of those fatalities,
oh my god,
dude, like I would see some of those and I would just be like, I don't even want to watch.
No, for sure not. For sure not.
What was it like Kenshi's the helicopter blade one, right? Like where he like floats you into the spinning blade, and I was just like, I don't want to. I don't want to see this.
There's the one where Kung Lao. This might have been MK9 or MKX, one of those two, where he puts the hat on the ground and then he pulls you onto it groin first. Oh,
they actually
could do without it.
They actually stole that, I think, from Shaolin monks, because in Shaolin monks you could fatality anything. So even like the little guys running around, like there was an instant kill that you built up meter for, so that you could. And the worst thing about it too is like you do it and go fatality, and it was a 4 input thing, and you just had to like put in every combination until you found one that works.
Right.
But that blade saw, the saw blade one was definitely in there. So Shaolin monks was fun.
Could do without that stuff.
Yeah, dude. Some of the gore in there.
Part of why I like Injustice more than MK.
Yeah. It'd be interesting because, like, honestly, they're trapped, and
they have to do
this is an interesting 5-5 topic as well, because I feel like Mortal Kombat is trapped. They have to have the gore.
They have to.
If they ever take away the gore, like MKDC, like it's just like you're killing yourself. What if they make a new MK versus DC?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the rumors. I mean, obviously it's all unsubstantiated, but yeah, I could see that. MK versus DC too.
But when they took out the fatalities, it was such a big deal, and then like everybody was. I mean, there were fatalities in the game, but they were all.
Wasn't it only MK versus MK character who had fatalities?
No, they all had fatalities, but they weren't gory or violent or something like that. Like I think Joker shot you while you were off screen, you know, and stuff. Like he went with the gun and was bang, ha 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 ha. Then he pulls out a real gun and shoots you. But I think the character scrolls off screen, so you don't actually see him shoot him or something like that. So. Yeah,
heroic brutalities. Wow. So I rented that game once, found a Superman Infinite in the first 10 minutes, and was like, well...
Was ground pound, ground pound, ground pound, ground pound, ground pound, ground pound, ground pound,
I feel like 1,000 people found that at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like the first thing you'd want to try. Oh, man. It was so stupid.
So I didn't... I basically think that company's games were all terrible until MK9.
Yeah.
It would be nice if MK11 has a gore toggle.
Dude, they all had a gore toggle.
Had zombie mode, so there's no fatalities at that point.
Yeah.
And they're all zombies, but like there's not like a lot more blood.
Look,
that said, they all still had the X-rays, which are some of the grossest things to me.
Right. Well, I will say this as well. if anybody from NRS is watching this and it's not too late to change any of this, if you do have a gore toggle switch, okay, if you turn the switch on so that there's no gore, when you KO a character, please give me a big KO scream. An exciting, frozen KO scream. Because the fact that the NRS games do not have that, or that when they die you can... What's that?
Down.
Oh, yeah. Down. Yeah, or you can start and go to restart match. Like, I get it. Like, don't put restart match in there because it hurts viewership. It really... Even when I was watching on TV...
I hear you.
Every time someone died and they went to start rematch, like, it killed the vibe so badly.
They were instructed not to do that, by the way, but
they definitely did.
They did it.
You can't help it. It's just habit.
It's definitely just habit.
Yeah. But if you can get like an actual like Kung Lao does this thing and like boom and then spins it, boom KO, and the guy falls, and then you get the cool pose and the guy's just like on the ground, like. Don't make him get up and then fall down stiffly.
The little explosion that comes out.
Yeah. So.
Well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, enough about this.
Okay.
You want to do any more 5.5s?
What else did you have here?
I had a couple of other ideas.
Okay. We can talk about that. Sure.
A couple of weeks ago, Justin Wong put out his list of his 5 favorite fighting games of all time. Those were, in reverse order. Number 5, Tekken 5.0. For some reason.
Well, he won Evo East in that game.
Yeah.
That was the game that basically someone said, Justin, you suck, you'll never be able to win Tekken. And he said, oh yeah? And then he went and learned Tekken, and then he won Evo East and beat everybody. So,
Not bad. His 4th, Arcana Heart 1.
I didn't even know he played.
Was not aware of that. 3rd, Street Fighter Cross Tekken version 2013.
I'll let you speak on that one.
Okay, all right. 2nd, Capcom versus SNK 2.
That's interesting one. That one's interesting.
1st place, obviously, Marvel versus Capcom 2.
Of course.
Obviously, that one was a gimme. He only had one Street Fighter game up there, and it's not even like really Street Fighter.
Right, Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
He had 2 basically Street Fighter-ish games, right? CVS2 and SFxT are both the same kind of thing. But none of the named Street Fighters, none of the numbered Street Fighters, rather. And he had Tekken and Arcana Heart on there. I just wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah, it's a strange list. I mean, so basically what that produced was us thinking about what our top 5 favorite fighting games of all time were. And I tried to make my list, and I realized that my list is boring as shit. So I just don't even, like, I don't even know if it's, like, there's no Arcana Heart 1 on there. You know, I'm not going to put Critical Blow on there.
What's your 5th favorite fighting game of all time?
My 5th favorite fighting game of all time? Well, see, here's the tough part, right? What do you do about situations like Guilty Gear? Do I count Xrd Revelator as different from Sign? Do I count Guilty Gear all as one? Do I count...
You should.
Right? Do I count it as, like, the different versions of Guilty Gear? So here's the one question.
Like, Xrd is different than XX.
Right. Okay, so Xrd and XX are different from each other. Okay. So in 5th place, I had a hard time deciding between the two, to be honest with you. So this is fighting each other was probably... XX and Alpha 3 probably were fighting against each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
XX. What was your favorite version of XX?
See, that's the thing. So Reload and Slash I played a hell out of. Like, Reload was the one... So Reload and Slash were the ones that me and my friend cracked out on. I didn't play Axe and Core as much as the other ones. So I would probably be one of those two would be my favorite just because I played those the most, right? What's your 5th favorite? BB Tag.
BB Tag.
Oh, really? I knew it. I was right. Yes.
You were right.
We did not discuss this beforehand. 100%.
No, we did not.
So, yeah.
No, we did not. Mm-hmm. I think that it's the best versus series game.
Okay.
In general. I think it's better than the Marvels, better than Dragon Ball. Like, it's for that style of game, for me, I think it's the best. Graphics don't matter terribly much to me. The gameplay is super, super compelling. And although it's new, and I was kind of like, should I put it up there because it's kind of new? Maybe I'm in the honeymoon phase of the game. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think that it's going to stand the test of time.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Fourth game.
I listed my top 10 on Twitter, but what I said was there's the obvious first two, and then I'm like, after that.
Okay.
And then I thought about it, and I narrowed it down.
Okay. What's 4? We'll do the zigzaggy thing.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken 2013.
You people.
I think that's the best Street Fighter game of the 21st century. Yep. That was the apex.
You know, I really, really want the game to have a resurgence.
That'd be great.
I really want the game to have a resurgence because I just want everybody to see how bad this game actually
It was
is.
not.
I just
It
want to
was so
see
sick.
how many. I just want people to watch it and go like, "Holy crap, this game is ass."
I played a lot of it. It's not. I don't feel
Dude,
like I'm speaking from like.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing about Cross Tekken. 100%, this is truth, right? It was definitely more fun to play than it was to watch. Watching that game was such a chore because it was ugly, and yes, even after the patch, it was still stupidly slow. And the stages were really stupidly long.
All the graphics were bad.
Yeah, and there's just too many goddamn mechanics in the game. The game was just such a mess.
I do not agree with that part.
Such a mess. And so there was, I mean, if you guys found some enjoyment, I didn't have fun playing it at all. Because I thought the chain combos were stupid. I hated the chain. I hated the chain combos so badly. Oh man, I hated that game. Anyways,
4th place, the best Street Fighter game of the 21st century.
I just don't. Man, you don't understand. Like that's like one of the only fighting games. There's like legit only like 2 fighting games that I like actively hate, and the other one I won't talk about. So the other one I refuse to talk about.
Yeah, Combat Tribes is not very good.
Yeah. My 4th favorite game, like I said, my list is not very exciting.
Okay.
Is probably Guilty Gear Xrd.
Wait, didn't you just say that? Oh, Xrd.
Xrd. So yeah, just because the game is like Guilty Gear and it's just so beautiful, and Johnny's good, and he's kind of broken and stuff. But I mean, like I said, that's like I said, it's just okay. Well, what makes Street Fighter Cross Tekken good? That's a good question. That's a good question out there.
I think it has the best footsies of any Street Fighter game in the 21st century. Basically, the biggest reason. Beyond that, I think the character designs are really well done. The gameplay, I mean, they're ugly. That's not what I'm saying. I think the gameplay is really good. They're very different. They're so varied. What's your deal? They play very differently from each other. I like the. See, I'm just trying to not look. I like the mix-ups of the game. I like the idea of the team stuff. I think it's compelling. And I think that Pandora mode is one of the best game mechanics in recent memory.
That's a troll.
That is a troll.
That is 100% a troll.
Yeah. But the rest is right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was good balance. It's got all the things I want. There was good zoning and good footsies and good mix-ups and good pressure. There was big damage. Oh, it's a cat.
He's meowing at me because they're hungry now. It's dinner time for them, so they're starting to prowl.
Almost done.
What's
your third?
Third game, hyper fighting.
Oh, okay.
But see, here's the question: are hyper fighting and Super Turbo different games? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because even though they're part of the same series,
Sure.
I think that they're so different from each other. So hyper fighting would be number. Actually, honestly, my top 3 is kind of blurry, but hyper fighting would probably be number 3 right now at this point in time. So.
All right. No, this is a kind of gross microwave burrito. Not that great.
Okay.
From Trader Joe's. My third is Injustice 2.
By the way, so about hyper fighting, because I think it's the most balanced Street Fighter, and every character is super fun in that game, and the game is just it's so brutally visceral. That game still is one of the only games where like you fight Balrog and he goes turn around punch 1 pow fierce pow you're stunned and then you're dead, and it's just like like that's the only.
Ken jumps over your fireball to start the round and you die.
And it's like the one game that I will play Zangief and I will fuck you up in that game with Zangief, dude. I just love playing. Unless I've played Blanca, then that's a whole different story because that fight sucks. Anyways, Injustice 2. Sorry.
Injustice 2 is my third favorite game.
Okay.
I feel like there's a theme that I hadn't really thought about before, but graphics don't matter to me. with these
games are
three
all
here.
ugly.
Yeah, they're all ugly for sure.
I actually don't even think BB Tag's that ugly, to be honest with you. So
It's not pretty.
yeah.
Injustice 2. And it's honestly for basically very similar reasons to Cross Tekken. It's the Footsies game that really gets me. I think that for me, it probably has... Well, I guess my number one game has my favorite Footsies, but Injustice 2 probably has my second. Not having proximity guard means that you can walk to like a super precise spots and be like exact with your location on things. And there's a lot of good buttons in the game that are good for both whiff punishing and for just approaching or being safe or whatever, like all the aspects of Footsies. There are defensive Footsies and offensive ones in mid-range. All that stuff is super, super good in that game. And then on top of that, I really like that they let all the characters be wild and crazy and strong.
Okay.
They're all really different designs. I like that a lot. I think it's balanced. I think it has like really common, crazy fun comebacks, even though the game doesn't like have any mechanics that are built for that, which I think is pretty cool.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Number 2, I mean, your number 2 and 1 are very clear, right?
For sure.
For me, my number 1 is probably pretty clear. It's really what my number 2 is.
What's
that's
the
probably
number
pretty-
2?
Well, what's your number 2?
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Okay. Yeah. No surprises.
No
there.
surprise.
No surprises there, obviously.
And honestly, it's like 3, and then you got to jump a ways until you get up to the top 2. The top 2 are pretty far.
So what's interesting about my number 2 favorite fighting game of all time is it's one that I didn't even really play that much. It's one that I don't even consider myself even remotely good at.
Okay.
And that's Vampire Savior.
Ooh, good job.
Vampire Savior is my second favorite fighting game because, Darkstalker series in general.
Okay.
Because if I had to because if you make me play Night Warriors, then I will beat you up with Bishaman because Bishaman is just OP in that game anyway. So it's less to do with me, more to do with Bishaman. But the Vampire series is just... I can't, like, every time I talk about it, I get all happy and excited and giddy and stuff like that. But like I said, my experience with Vampire Savior was that, I played it at the level that I thought was super good, because that was back in the day we didn't have YouTube or anything like that. I didn't know what the Japanese were doing, and then I found, so we were playing Vampire Savior like we played Street Fighter with crazy characters. And then Japan was playing Vampire Savior like they were playing Vampire Savior, right? And so when I saw what they were doing, I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, I've been doing this wrong the entire time, kind of situation. And so basically, I figure I just love the series. Graphics, I think it's the perfect fighting game in a lot of ways, right? So it's just like between graphics, humor, mood, just storytelling, just mechanics.
The audiovisual work is amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And even just like the themes of it. Like I said, like the reason why I don't want a new Vampire Savior game is because I don't think anything else can mix the humor, the silliness, the sexiness, the violence, the sadness, the somberness, all the themes that go into that game are just so immaculately done. I don't think anything else can represent it. The only reason why it's not my number 1 is just because I didn't play it that much. If I played it as much as I love watching and talking about the game, then it probably would be just my number 1 overall.
Interesting.
So. Don't worry, Curly W. We know about the clock. We know about the clock.
I always have respected that game a lot, for sure. It's not one that I've played very much or even watched very much. But that definitely makes sense to me as a high-ranked game.
And, of course, number 1 for me is going to be Super Turbo, right?
Yeah.
Because, that's the game that I can play at any given time. You just put it down in front of me. I'll never forget how to play that game.
Yeah.
And, it's where the whole Cammy obsession came from, right? It's like that game, like, defines me as a player, as the low-tier hero, Cammy-loving, which is funny because I haven't really liked Cammy since Super Turbo, which is the completely ironic thing, but, that's the way it works. But, I just have too much fun with that game. I think Hyper Fighting might be a better fighting game than Super Turbo. More balanced, and I probably have even more fun playing Zangief in that game than I do Cammy and Super Turbo. But it's just the amount of time I have spent on Super Turbo, the amount of investment I've had in this game, and the amount of enjoyment playing Ken versus Ryu matches. Every casual session turns into Ryu Ken at the end, basically. And just like the amount of fun I've had with that game, there's just no game that I can't put above that. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's perfectly understandable. Man, by the way, I really love Hyper Fighting Boxer. He's one of my favorite fighting game characters.
He's like so good while being kind of bad in a lot of ways, but that's
really
what makes
weird.
him well designed.
Oh, it's a little girl who just flopped.
Just a flop.
It was a social role,
Yeah. Okay.
as cats are wont to do. My number one is Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
those
no
two,
surprise.
those top two are no-brainers for me.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
And everything else, as I was thinking about this list,
Jasmine,
again, I was like,
Jasmine, what are you
what could I even put on the same pedestal as those two games?
Right.
Because I just I don't feel like that exists. Like I really feel like it's the top two for me, and then it's like big distance. Jasmine is going after the tablecloth.
Jasmine, stop. Jasmine,
Are you
stop.
about to marker her?
No, I was about to throw a pen at her if she didn't, or just at least try to get her to pay attention to something else.
Ooh, she's definitely doing it. Oh man, look at this
She
little
loves
head bobbing.
this pen. She loves this pen.
James is messing with his pen,
Yeah,
and
doing this kind of thing, and
she's definitely involved. Yeah, Third Strike, I did hate for a couple of years, for sure.
Did you actually hate it?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I did.
Okay.
I did. In 2008, I began to get real tired. Maybe it was even 07. I got real tired of parries because I kind of I like considered myself beyond that or above that, like as if it was just guessing,
Right,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
nothing more interesting than that. And also deluding myself into thinking that other games did not have guessing.
Right.
Which is to just, you know, not right. So I felt that way for a while. I think in retrospect, my playing of Q probably figured into that too. That I just was like mad that I never won anything.
Yeah.
Especially because right after that, or during that time, I was playing and winning tournaments in Super Turbo, and not even with top tier characters. And then Street Fighter 4 came out, and I was winning with that in that game. And when HD Remix came out, I was winning in that, and I was like, why can't I win in Third Strike? I hate this game.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's my own doing.
Turns out you were using a shitty character.
Yeah, for sure. So starting in about 2010, I got back on the Third Strike train. No, I guess it was later than that. It was when 25th Anniversary came out. 2012. So there were a few years in there where I did not like it.
It's really interesting what
now I
Crackbron
do.
says, that both of our favorite games are games that we played shitty characters in. There might be just something about that struggle that just kind of makes you feel connected to it in a weird way. So
yeah, I mean, obviously my hating of guessing was nonsense, and every fighting game is full of it, and it's inescapable. It's like, that's the game.
I actually feel like there's so much of that in Soul Calibur. Like I feel like
For sure.
like that game is about crouching and sidestepping, guessing
for sure.
between vertical and horizontal. Like that's like such a large chunk of that game, you know. So
But every game has it,
Right,
And you're
exactly.
deluding yourself, as I was, if you think that that's not true.
I argued with some old school players who were saying like old school fighting games like Street Fighter didn't have guessing, like Hyper Fighting didn't have
Absurd.
guessing in it. I was like, what do you call a fireball fake?
Right.
Like that's absolutely just a guess right there. That's like a
Yeah.
whole guess. Or if I cross up low short, am I going to throw you or up? Or, dude, it's all in there, dude. All of it is in there. There's
very
guessing
obvious if you think about it.
So yeah.
Those are our top 5! Woo!
Yeah. Okay. But
Anyway, we don't have much time left. Hey, we got nominated for an award
that's
by
right.
a brand new and very reputable, I won't hear anything otherwise, CBS has created a brand new and automatically already the best gaming awards for video games on television.
Yes, that's right. And we are nominated for commentary duo.
We're nominated for Best Esports Caster Duo.
Hey, shout outs to the cheer from Investigator Cone. Woo! But yeah, Say Jam, Tasty Jam is in there, as well as Scar and Toph.
Yep.
Or Scar and Toph, I should say. As well as, of course, you know, some schmucks named...
Toph, right?
I don't remember.
Pretty sure.
Oh, because it's Christopher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Toph. Toph is the Avatar character. Sorry, yeah.
Oh.
It's spelled exactly the same.
Oh, bummer.
That's why it's confusing. But you know, some other bums were nominated as well, like Tastosis, I guess. I don't know who they are, but you know, and then like
Is that Tasty Steve plus
Genosis?
on Geonosis maybe?
Yeah, and then what is it? Was it like Monte Cristo? Wasn't he one of them, and something like that, or
I guess.
there's like some other like guys that you know I guess are important.
I guess. Yeah, like him and DOA. So you have an old European count and DOA.
Oh man. No, but it's actually cool. It's actually cool. So I'm honored. There's no chance we're winning this thing.
Obviously not. Yeah.
But still, I think it's kind of
definitely all the FGC dudes are gonna get obviously passed over.
Yeah.
Bardolph is also nominated, who I will claim as fighting games.
Yes.
Even though he may do a little bit with CS:GO, it turns out we've discovered.
I just like that when they wanted to show clips of us and Tasty Jam, they put us all on together from an old Ultra Chen episode.
That was funny.
I don't know how where did they cull that from?
Well, how do they even know who we are?
I know,
it's
right?
very confusing to me.
It's so weird.
But I won't hear anything other than that it's the best awards show with the smartest nominees. Obviously, they put the most time into figuring out who their nominees would be. It's unimpeachable.
It is true that they have multiple picks, though, which is cool, though. So they have 3 fighting game pairings, which is the most out of all of them.
3 of the 8. And since I count Bardolph also, 3.5 of the 8.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Jasmine, stop.
Anyway, it's not going to work out for us, but it's going on my fake business card.
Okay. Well, also, in other news is that they announced the first 3 games officially for Evo Japan.
Yeah.
They're still working on 3 more, so it wasn't the first 3 that you would have expected, but those are the ones that they got. And so I appreciate that they're trying to let us know as quickly as possible instead of trying to wait for all of them. You know
100%.
what I mean? That they actually just said, you know what, look, Soul Calibur, BB Tag, and Tekken 7 are in.
Yeah.
Right?
The best ArcSys developed game of the year.
The 5th best fighting game of all time.
And the best Bandai published game of the year are both already announced.
But they said that they're working on Smash Ultimate. They're working on Street Fighter.
Oh, did they actually mention that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mark said
okay.
that they're working with these. They mentioned 3 more games. I can't remember what the 6th one was, but they said that they were working with companies. Mark said that he's working already. They're already working on trying to get more people in there. So
I would not have advised him to do that, but okay, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty late notice, right? And if it's going to be much later notice, then it's pretty tough for a lot of people to be able to travel intercontinentally.
Evo Japan is February next year in Fukuoka, so excited about that. Okay.
Gotchkin got sponsored by Red Bull. Congrats to him.
Oh, good stuff.
Zero will return to compete in Smash Ultimate on Tempo Storm.
No surprise.
Nice work to him.
I mean, he said he was going to come back for Ultimate, right? So he said he was going to give it a shot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, no surprise for sure. Chris Tatarian got let go by Cygames.
Yeah, and I saw it was like over like a contract dispute or something.
Yeah, so I've been helping him out with a contract dispute for the last 3-4 months.
Dang.
It's been ongoing. Yeah, it's been a while. And
can you even
it's
talk
a bummer.
about it?
Well, I mean,
like,
definitely not the details.
Yeah, that's like client
attorney-client
privilege. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So no, I can't go into too much detail, but it is a contractual dispute. Hopefully, it's something that we get resolved at some point.
Okay.
That might take a lot of fighting to actually make happen, but it's unfortunate for him.
But he's just had the worst luck with sponsors.
Oh, for sure. It's been really frustrating for him. Regardless of what you think about some of the stuff he puts on Twitter, and I am definitely not a fan of some of that stuff either, as I have told him, and I'm sure many of us have. That's all a very different question as to him being treated well or not by an esports team.
Right.
And I want everybody in the FGC, or really just in general, to be treated well by their team. So that's what we're trying to make happen.
Dude, I do that every time. I even make it known when like people who are team owners come up to me like, "Hi, I'm in charge of this team." I'm like, I start to kind of grill them a little bit.
Sure.
Like I really am like, I want to make sure that you're taking care of the players and and stuff like that. So that's something that I definitely.
It did not have anything to do with the picture of him smoking a joint.
Dude, it's California. It's legal.
Yeah. I mean, in any case, was not a factor.
Yeah, I know.
It's very funny to be on kind of the inside of things that other people are just speculating about. It's I think an experience that many of us have had. It's weird.
Dude, that's why
sometimes people just come up with things and sometimes they like kind of make sense if you don't know anything about it. But
that is why
chill out.
I was so mad about the Snowden reveal years ago, because it just made it so that the conspiracy theory was right.
Yeah.
And that means now everybody has a reason to believe every conspiracy theory. Because before that was what they were. They were tinfoil hats, you know, kind of things.
Right.
But now it's
some
like...
of that stuff was not, but yeah.
Yeah,
I hear
so
it.
it's like, So
Yeah.
there you go.
It's just a contractual dispute. There's nothing else that's going on. So.
Okay.
Whoa, the cat just fell off of the...
Fall off the table?
She did indeed.
Oh my God.
Hope that works out, but of course they'll still be at Capcom Cup.
Okay.
I have one other thing, and that is that there's a Soul Calibur 6 frame data app. Have you checked that out?
No, I did not know about this at all.
It's in the beta version, so it's not done. But you can check it out. It's called Soul Frames. It's on Google Play, so if you're one of the people who likes to live in the walled garden, you might not have a great time.
So what's it called again?
It's called Soul Play.
Oh, but it's only
Soul
on
Frames,
it's
excuse
only
me.
on Android, huh? Oh, it's not on iPhone yet. Okay. Have they talked about trying to get it on iPhone?
I mean, I'm sure that they want to.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they did.
Okay, sweet. Okay, that'll be great. I can't wait for that because I definitely need that.
There's also, I mean, I think I've addressed this before, but there's a really nice frame data in-game app that you can also get. That is called...
Oh, it's the same thing that's on Tekken. Yeah,
Is it?
They have that, but that's only PC.
On PC
Yeah,
only,
on PC. Yeah. It's the same thing that they did on...
Scuffle, right? Scuffle.
Yeah, it's the same thing that Tekken has.
Okay.
Basically, it shows you all the frame data like as you play and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But
super useful. But it's great. It's great also because you're not always on PC or having access to that. So it's great to be on your phone too.
Okay. And just really quick, just because we only have like 3 minutes left here, basically 2 minutes left. Just really quick, just a few things. Dragon Ball FighterZ Deluxe Edition was announced for PlayStation 4, so that if you want to just buy it and have all the DLC, that's available. So that's coming out soon. We didn't get a chance to talk about this, but Dead or Alive 6 is going to have like a Dead or Alive 6 festival. It's being released on the same day as Evo Japan, so there's going to be an exhibition over there. They announced new characters. I think it's like Nico, Kokoro, and Lisa. And Nico is like as a unique character, a brand new character to the franchise. I watched the trailer. It's like I think it was like a hooded chick or something like that. So BlazBlue Central Fiction Special Edition was announced for the Switch. The costumes.
Yeah, what do you think about those? New SF5 costumes.
I mean, I saw the Holiday Falcon. It made me depressed again because of how bad she looks.
I like the candy cane stick.
Yeah, the candy cane stick is genius, for sure.
The rest of it is hobbled by the fact that it's Falcon SF5.
Yeah, and that's true. With Cammy, with Jill, now that you mention it, she has pants now. Is that the first time she's ever had pants?
I was hoping to ask you that question, because as far as I know that's true, but I figured you'd be the expert.
I have so much fan art for Cammy, it's hard to say, because I've seen her in pants so many times, so, no, I'm just kidding. But am I kidding?
I'm not sure.
But
she had pants in SF4, folks are saying. So.
Which costume does she have pants?
The cat.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true. So, a lot of people like Urian. I just don't like Urian's chin. His chin just looks like a giant butt on his face.
It's definitely a butt chin.
Yeah, but
he makes sense as Wesker. Yeah, it's fine.
I was surprised that they made Ada Colleen. Ada Wong, the Asian character.
I guess it probably should have been like Jury or.
I mean, obviously Chun-Li has 7,000 costumes already, so maybe Jury. Like Jury would have made sense to me, right? And then they're both kind of that femme fatale, kind of sleek, kind of.
I don't know. I never played the game, but
okay. So I don't know. I thought Jury would have worked better for that, but. Also, there is Arcade Shock is offering a full week of savings in a Black Friday sale from November 19th through 25th. So it just started yesterday. So this whole week, Arcade Shock has some sales. They sell a lot of joysticks, arcade parts, and also clothes too. They have a lot of cool, the old Super Turbo Japanese artwork with the sketch heads and stuff like that. Like that one and the Third Strike one that they got Hella Shock to do. They're the ones who sell that kind of stuff. I think it's split frame stuff. But you should definitely check that out. They've got a lot of good stuff there that you don't want to miss. PlayStation also has a Black Friday sale currently, so Dragon Ball FighterZ, Injustice 2, For Honor are all on sale, so you can check that out if you want to grab those. This is old. Yeah, everything else here.
I played Destiny the last couple of days because Destiny 2 was free to pick up on the Blizzard launcher, so I was like, why not? And then I installed it, and I played it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours maybe.
Okay.
And it's not for me, I don't think. I love the idea of a space WoW. Because, first of all, space, and second of all, WoW.
I mean, wouldn't you just want to turn StarCraft into the space WoW?
I sure would, James.
I
sure would.
That's all you just need to do, right?
But it's not exactly WoW. I mean, it's a RPG, but it's not.
Right.
It's not the same kind of like big open world sort of system. And I can't get involved in a game like that anyway. So.
Yeah. So a couple of things. I will say that I really have been enjoying the fighting game community locals of the world, the FGC locals of the world stuff that I've been doing.
Oh, yeah.
2 of the streams have made more money than they've paid me already through donations and stuff like that.
Dang.
So, you know, that's already cool right there. But I got to do an ARMS tournament on Friday last week. That was actually pretty sick. I was surprised at how cool it was. Like I like the kind of strategies that they were using and how the different arms and the different weapons were used to fight the different characters' abilities and stuff like that. It was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind doing some more ARMS commentary in the future, to be honest with you. But also, I did like a tournament, an online tournament for Brazil. And I just want to say, because I don't do this very often, but the grand finals in that match was between a Cody and a Cammy. And you know how we were talking about, like, you know, I was talking about on Twitter that I wish I could do a top 8 with Justin's Manat. Because I get super hype and excited when I watch Justin play Manat. I think it's exciting, and I know a lot of people think it's boring and stuff.
Yeah.
So this grand finals...
Gets wasted on Yipes.
Yeah. This grand finals...
Yipes is such a good commentator for offensive matches, but he's not a big fan of the zoning, you can tell that.
When this match played, the Cody won because he shut down Cammy so hard with great zoning defensive turtle play. And I want to say, I think I made that grand final super hype. Like, I was like, because everyone was, after it was done, everyone was like, dude, that grand finals was so good and blah, blah. Like, I feel like if a lot of people are commentating, they'd be like, oh, nothing's happening.
Nice work.
But I felt like I really did a good job with that. So, I don't know, whole thing's going really well. Tomorrow, before NLBC at 2:30, I'm going to be doing a top 8 from Las Vegas for UMVC3.
Oh,
thanks
nice.
to I Heart Justice. I get to do some UMVC3 commentary for Vegas. So, I don't know. I think it's been fun.
That's great.
I've been having a good time. Also, just want to say, I'm currently number 21 ranked in the world on Tetris Marathon right now, and I'm trying to get myself up there a lot more. So, I'm still resuming my Tetris King status right now. So, I'm pretty proud of that right now. Pretty proud of my Tetris skills right now. So.
As well you should be.
Yes. So
nice work, everybody.
I'll definitely be streaming that some more this, like, probably in Thanksgiving. I'll probably finish Resident Evil 7 on Thanksgiving night, and then on Friday I might just stream another personal best attempt for Tetris Marathon. So there you go.
Arc Evo Japan's this weekend, huh? Dang.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And they released the pools as well.
Oh, okay.
So if you actually go to arcsystemsworks.jp and someone linked it, it's portal/post11723. Woo! Okay, yeah, you guys are never going to remember that.
The woo.
So there you go. Here you go. So here is the link. You guys can go there and check out the pools and the brackets for Arc Evo Japan.
What do you think about Tafakins getting the #1 something in the world on Tetris?
Okay.
Whatever,
so,
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so
you seem like you got a big explanation here.
That wasn't going to last long.
Okay.
He's already not there anymore. And 2, that is more of an endurance thing than anything.
He had to play for like 4 hours or something, right?
He had to play like 5. He played for like 5 or 6 hours to get to the score that he got.
Horrible.
Current #1 spot right now is like 100 and some hours, and it's like way above everybody else right. No, it's like 30 some hours. It's like 30 some hours, and his score is way above everybody else.
That was like a bot, right?
No, because you can put the PlayStation 4 to sleep.
Oh.
So you score a Tetris, pause the game, put it to sleep, go to sleep, wake up. Dude,
what a genius exploit.
That's all you need to do. So you can just sit there and do that for hours and hours and hours.
I respect whoever the first one was who did that.
Yeah.
Everybody else after that, no. But that first person who broke the rules and figured out a way to do it,
dude, I figured that out like instantly. That's why when they were like, "Oh, look, Tafo Kid's got the score," and was it Tafo or was it Taf? It was Tafo. He was Tafo.
So, yeah.
And I was just like, I didn't want to be that guy that was just like but like this is an endurance test. Because marathon endless, you literally can't die.
Right.
You just know what you're doing and you will live forever. So it's really just about how long you want to do it, and you can put the PlayStation 4 to sleep.
Well, there's another show going on right now. You can go check it out on twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
That's right.
I don't know what they're talking about tonight.
Yeah, I saw some guests that are going to be on there, but I don't remember who they are.
Great work.
Useful information. All right. Okay. But yes, I have been playing Tetris Effect. Like I said, on Friday, I'll probably try to go for a new personal best on Marathon 150, not Endless, the 150, because I've been working on that. And yesterday, I tried for the longest of time for like 3 hours, and I didn't get a new personal best until the very end. My brain was so off yesterday. Like, I could not play it properly. So
I think that I've gone long enough without showering that now my hair has kind of reverted to being normal looking instead of greasy, don't you think?
How long have you gone without showering this time?
Maybe not a great question to ask me, James. It looks nice though, right?
It does look kind of nice in a weird way. Got that weird, maybe it's that weird, like, unkempt. No, it's not even unkempt look. It's, anyways.
In truth, I showered earlier today.
Okay. I hope so. I definitely don't smell anything, so.
You guys are all so willing to believe that I'm that gross.
I know, it's not like you've never not showered for 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying, right? All lies, believe me. You guys are willing to believe the worst about people out there.
Award nominated. That's
Vote
right.
for Ultra Chen. You can do it on whatever the website is.
Yay! Check David's Twitter account.
I don't think I've posted it.
You didn't post. Never mind. All right. Thanks, guys.